to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Andrew's off today. Manaski's in for Andrew. Although he is getting refreshments for the crew as we speak. Davey is in here right now. Last night, Monday Night Football. I think we all pretty much picked the Ravens, didn't we? I'm pretty sure I picked the Ravens.
Everybody picked the Ravens except for Jake and Wayne.
Okay. Well, so I lost this week on Minnesota.
So the only blimp on my thing was the 49ers. So I extended my lead.
Your lead, yeah.
Yeah.
How many games did we pick again? 3?
We did 4 games.
4. So I went 2 for 2?
Yes.
Oh, boy. And you went 3 and 1.
Yes.
Oh, boy. It's our Pick'em contest that we do here. There are some people in the mix. I also have someone who wants to join in this week. Now, listen to this. Don't open your eyes with that misogyny. She thinks that she knows nothing about football, which is true, but feels that she could come in right now and still beat all of us just by picking her favorite color.
I don't think she should come in because she hasn't been in since day one.
Yeah, but she's already in a deficit, right? What is the score right now? Where are we at? What are we at right now? Do you even know?
No, I have to calculate them.
You do the calculation. But she's, listen, Manaski, would you agree here? We're in week number, 7?
Yeah.
And she wants to join in. And can you get that mic down for me?
Yeah.
She wants to join in, and she thinks that she...
Who's this?
Her name it's Nancy. Nancy Ford.
Oh, Nancy. Okay.
Photographer Nancy Ford. She told me the other night, she said, I think I can come in and still beat you guys. And she would start out at 0-7.
Well, so explain the way your contest works.
So each week we pick 3 or 4 games.
3 or 4?
I guess.
It's optional?
Flip-floppy rules.
We picked a Thursday night game, Sunday night, and Monday night. The last couple weeks,
right? Because there's
the
been
person
2
who
games.
set this contest up
there
gave
was
us some dumber.
Well, some
games,
of those Sunday night games have been.
so we switched them around.
Have been awful.
Okay.
So anyway, she said, I think I could join in right now.
Yeah.
Just by picking colors, just by picking my favorite, where I want to go on vacation. And you know what? It always seems to be whenever those you do the squares game. That squares game doesn't matter.
Correct.
But when you're picking the winners, it seems sometimes, especially if you're using the spread, it seems that the person that knows nothing about football ends up winning.
Yeah.
The more you know, the less you know.
I've told this story before now. So this used to be, what did we used to call them? Tickets? I think we used to call them tickets back in the day. I remember.
Yeah.
And this was before legalized gambling, so this was not.
Wasn't legal.
Correct.
I don't think it's legal today, though.
But you would find, and I don't think this is legal anymore because I think the house takes a cut. But there would be like a local establishment, and they would print off these white paper tickets, and it would have all the games for the week on there. And
I remember these.
You took one half of the sheet and you brought the other half. It wasn't a bookie. It was just like back to the house, right?
Yeah,
whatever
listen,
the establishment was.
We had somebody in high school that did this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one place that I worked at as a teenager, this was one of my starter jobs there. Someone would pick them up from this particular place and kind of distribute them around the job site. And there was a woman there who would pick, and her strategy was, which city would I rather go shopping in?
This is exactly what Nancy's doing. And how well did she do?
She went, I specifically remember this because the woman was a little bit older and like nobody, it was one of these, and I'm not saying that Nancy's a little bit older because she's not, but it was kind of like I can outpick you boys type of a thing because we were all younger. Like I said, we were teenagers. And, it was somebody's mom or I don't know, maybe it was somebody's grandmother. I don't
Simply
remember.
picking where she wants to go shopping, just like that.
And so every week there would, be a different winner. It was a lot of people, but not only did she win our job site, I'll say, but she got paid off from the establishment.
She won the whole thing.
She won 12. She went 12-0 that week.
Wow.
And I don't think she ever won before or after that, but it just happened
that's because
to be
because everybody was like, "Sorry, you can't play anymore."
Yeah.
You're out. You're gone.
It was, I think she put $10 on it, and if I'm not mistaken, that paid something like the number 360 is in my head, so it might have been like 360 to 1.
Wow.
On $10 is.
Oh, that's $3,600.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It was like $3,600 she won.
I gotta say that.
Can you believe that though? You hit a 12-leg parlay, you only get 36 to 1.
I know.
Jeez.
That with any bookie or legalized betting today, that probably would pay huge numbers.
Yeah, my numbers might be off there, but I remember her taking like $3,500.
Are you ready? The NewJersey.com has come out with the 5 New York Mets who will not be on the roster next year.
Okay, so.
And by the way, there's a headline with Pete Alonso in the story. Without me getting in and reading into the story, what do you think?
Well, of course, the photo there of Pete Alonso is what gets you to click.
It is what gets you to click, and they're saying that Alonso is going to be looking for, agents really push, even though he's been considered a forever Met. He's expected to seek at least $200 million.
A forever Met.
And that would mean that the Mets would say no. And remember, his numbers have declined a little bit over the last couple of years, even though he leads the National League in home runs since he's entered the league.
Well, he had that huge first year.
He had that huge
set
first
the rookie
year.
mark, I think, for home runs in the season.
And since then, it hasn't been. This year, he was a little off on home runs, but he still produced.
Yeah.
I mean, whether he was hitting singles or doubles, he was, or that little bloop the other night, he still produced. He got on base. Anyway, they're saying, according to NewJersey.com, the Mets can't do anything until after the World Series. NewJersey.com concludes, we're speculating that the first baseman will be willing, because he loves the Mets, he will be willing to negotiate and take less. They're predicting Pete Alonso will continue to be a New York Met.
That would be a great thing, and I think a good omen. You know who always was worth more than he was paid and always agreed to take less so that he could have a good support staff around him?
Derek Jeter.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady
Really? Was known for that, yeah.
Here are the ones that are going to be gone. Are you ready? Luis Severino, Jose Quintana.
I was going to say Severino.
And you got to think Ottavino is gone. I mean,
yeah, probably.
J.D. Martinez will be gone, and Harrison Bader, according to NewJersey.com.
Oh, boy.
Those 5 players will be gone.
They reeled us in on that one. You put Pete Alonso on there, and then you include 3 players who are well past their prime. Maybe not Quintana, but probably Severino and definitely J.D. Martinez. J.D. Martinez wouldn't make 8 of 10 Utica Muni League teams at this point.
I know. So I wake up this morning to learn that I have something enormous in common with Harvey Weinstein.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Well,
can you believe it? Did you read this story, Davey?
You're both among the 2 out of 3 men who will experience thinning hair by the age of 35.
Maybe that's it.
He's got what you have.
Yeah, he has the same cancer that I have.
Oh, no way.
Get out of here.
I didn't mean to make a joke about that.
No, I'm past not joking.
Okay.
In fact, some people think I'm insensitive when I joke about it, but what the hell else am I going to do, right? I'd like to say I'm one of the few cancer patients out there that's gained weight since getting treatment.
He's carving up.
Harvey Weinstein has been diagnosed with chronic myeloid leukemia, according to NBC. It was announced by he is a publicist, I guess, Harvey Weinstein. Of course he does. But he recently has been diagnosed with what they call a bone marrow cancer. Really, in my experience, what I've learned is it's a blood cancer, but you do need to, your blood makes up your bone marrow.
Okay.
So, yes, they have to get into the bone to be able to get the marrow to determine where you are in terms of the cancer. But his agent says we're not going to say anything else, but he has chronic myeloid leukemia. And I'm like, great, now I have something in common with Harvey Weinstein. I'm hoping that's the only thing other than the balding hair and probably a little overweight.
So,
although I would like what money he had. I don't know what he has today.
now let me ask you this.
He looks terrible, though.
I know he's looked terrible for a while.
Yeah,
I mean, even when he was doing his movie producer or executive thing, he had that
he looked like a
scowl
beast,
on his face.
like a beast. And these women would have to, if they really wanted to succeed, they had to kind of perform for him.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
So anyway, they're saying the rare, which it is kind of a rare type of chronic myeloid leukemia, is an uncommon form of cancer, which is in the blood and bone marrow. Out of respect for Mr. Weinstein's privacy, we will offer no further comment, said his publicist. So there you go.
Can you imagine that? You're like, imagine we introduced a guest and we're like, he's a publicist for some of the A-list celebrities, including
in prison.
Harvey Weinstein.
He is all the big
Take
prisoners.
that one off your resume, buddy.
This is kind of interesting, and we're in the middle of a 22nd congressional congressional district race between John Mannion and Representative Brandon Williams. Mannion, of course, is a New York State senator. The political group that is called the 314 Action Fund. They are big when it comes to science, to math, to they endorse candidates who they feel are intelligent and fit their values, like any other PAC, right?
Sure.
And in this case, they had plotted about $600,000 to be spent here in Utica and Syracuse against Brandon Williams, and the 314 Action Fund has just pulled their money.
How come?
They're saying that Mannion is so far in the lead, this is no longer a toss-up.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big announcement to make. Their polling shows, especially in this day of where we kind of wonder about polls, they seem very confident that this is no longer a competitive race. The group is named for the first three digits of PI, 314 Action Fund. Also plan to spend $250,000 on mailers for Mannion in the final 2 weeks of the campaign. So that brings to $850,000 they were going to spend. They're pulling it all and putting it elsewhere where they say the money is needed.
Boy, that's a bold move.
It is a bold move.
Two fronts. First of all, who can trust polling these days?
That's my point. Apparently, they believe they can. And they believe that the lead by Mannion is significant enough that
wow,
it's okay for them to pull the money.
I will say this.
I agree with you, though. That's a bold move.
I think he said it on this show, Brandon Williams, and it didn't strike me at the time as it didn't get my attention at the time as it did when I heard it in the ad. But that line about, I am the pro-life candidate and there are no qualifications. And he didn't say, and there are no, but he said, I make no qualifications or something along those lines. The ad is out there.
Yeah.
But
what does that mean? That's the problem.
Correct. It's kind of vague on what that means. What does that mean? And I think the first thing a lot of people think of, whether this is really what he meant or not, is like when people talk about, I'm pro-life, but, I understand the rape, incest, and for the life of the mother, right? And I think when people hear that cut, they immediately think, well, he's still pro-life, even if it's rape, incest,
and that's exactly what the negative commercials are proclaiming. The other thing that I thought was interesting is they went after Mannion on this. There were these two staffers that said there was a terrible work environment, that he yelled at them. You worked in a campaign. Could you imagine?
Well, so I wasn't in a campaign.
You worked for a candidate.
Correct.
That's exactly what this was, though.
Yes.
They did not work for the campaign. They worked for his state office.
Yeah.
It gets heated, right? And if you're
Marianne has more.
She's
of
not a heated person.
Yeah, she's not the type to blow her top. But again, I got to be on. There was times where it was like, and you have to understand this when you're in a position like that. If I screw something up or say something that might get me fired at Walmart, it doesn't actually get me fired. It gets her fired. You understand?
Right. It's on her.
Right.
They don't say staffer Jeff Manansky said A, B, and C.
Yes.
They say
Marianne Buttonshawn's office says.
So they did an investigation, and apparently the two females, the female staffers in the Brandon Williams commercial, which isn't really, these are all done by the National Committee.
Yeah.
But the latest commercial says that those two staffers, that's not who that they are. They are actually those are stock photos from South Africa. I thought that was kind of interesting. But I was surprised when they went after Mannion remember, Brandon Williams had that fight with the staffer that was caught on camera. And he's screaming at the guy saying, I will ruin you. You won't have another friend. I will take every friend from you. You will have nothing. And he's pointing in his face. And I'm like, why would they go after Mannion when this is lingering out there? You're only going to prompt your opponent to come. And sure enough, they've come back with that commercial and saying that there never was any harassment in the Mannion campaign. And that was through, I believe, the state Senate, whatever committee investigates that stuff. They came out and said that it was unfounded. Whether or not it was unfounded, I'm not confident.
Right.
However, that's been the dirtiest of this race.
So when Brandon Williams appeared on this program and I was here, I had no issue with Brandon Williams. I thought he was a nice guy. But who says that? I will ruin you. Your friends won't talk to you. Is that? I don't know.
Probably I don't know. In the heat of the moment, we say a lot of things. I would defend him there. In the heat of the moment, most people probably say a lot of things, and you try to get creative to really push your point home. So, I don't know how he's going to eliminate that person's friends, but apparently that was the line. And it's not reported that was the line. The video is playing, and we all saw that video when it first came out.
So, but even still, you're right. I've been heated and I've said things I'm sure that I've regretted, whether it was in a relationship I was in or a friendship with somebody. That type of a relationship.
Yeah, if you're going to say it.
But never in a, I guess I haven't been the boss of too many people.
It was a public setting, too. That was the other part.
Yeah.
With cameras.
I just wonder, It makes me wonder, what did the staffer say to Brandon Williams to draw that reaction?
I thought there was something where, I forgot what it was about. It may have been over a foil that the staffer had done for the party. I forget exactly what the story was, but maybe when we have him on, we'll ask him what prompted all of that. Anyway, at the end of the day, when you take a look at these things, if you're the candidate or you're the politician, you're the one, it's your name on there.
Yeah.
So if you decide A, B, and C, and you want your staff people to say, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think we should do this. And maybe it's so bad that the candidate is doing something that the staffer can no longer be a part of and has to leave. But to stand there and argue with that candidate, and this would go to both of them, Mannion and Brandon Williams, to defy them. At the end of the day, it's their name on the door.
Yeah.
So I can see where someone might say, "Listen, it's my way or the highway." I mean, I'm the candidate.
I get that.
Right? I'm the candidate.
But I think, just my opinion. And
I'm going to take all your friends from you.
In practice,
that's probably not a good argument.
Maybe I shouldn't say this because in practice, maybe I wouldn't be this way. But I would end the relationship, or I would terminate the employee before I started threatening their relationships.
No sense
and
in
their
getting
lifestyle.
angry. No sense in getting angry.
Smitty, by the way, where's my coffee? I will ruin you.
Did you?
I will destroy you.
Did you realize?
Hot coffee.
I did not know this, and I read this somewhere this morning. Did you know that you are not allowed by election law in New York State to take a photo of your ballot?
Oh, yeah?
I never knew this.
So this is
Apparently
so
it's
stupid.
after you filled it out.
This is so
By
stupid.
law, you cannot take a picture.
Maybe there's a reason that I don't immediately
I don't understand
comprehend.
the reason.
First of all, it's your right to express yourself. It should be absolutely illegal to try to sneak a photo of the guy in the booth next to you.
Correct.
That should be absolutely illegal.
Yes.
But your own, can you not come out? That's like saying, you know what, after within 30 minutes of you casting your ballot, you can't appear on social media declaring who you voted for. Why not? I don't understand.
The ban covers photos of the filled-out ballot and a portrait of the voter with their paper votes, according to the State Board of Elections. However, you can take photos at the polling place. You can also take photos of a blank ballot, but not one that has been filled out. This is the dumbest rule. I think I
don't get it.
I wish someone could explain to us why this rule even exists. I do not understand. All right, coming up, we're going to talk to Tanya Powers on the election. Mike this morning, gee whiz, why couldn't Harvey have gotten the cancer when he wasn't arrested and had money so he could donate to Real Men Get Tested? Yeah. Your organization. That's exactly right. Perhaps he could start a fund. Real men don't sexually molest women. All right, Mike.
A comment here. Good morning to Ed Welsh. He says it's not hard to predict the congressional outcome in a district that gained 30,000 registered Democrats.
I agree. I mean, this is an uphill battle for Brandon Williams with Syracuse, with our
That's
congressional district being connected to Syracuse. He is absolutely right. I got a bunch of other comments to get in here this morning. Tanya Powers coming up Tuesday, today marking exactly 2 weeks till Election Day. And right now the polls have it which way? Who's in the lead in this race? We'll get to Tanya coming right up at WIBX.
Long before Brian Miller was fighting for upstate New York as our assemblyman, he was part of a small team of MVCC engineering graduates who designed machinery to manufacture superalloy metal powder. Today, what Brian designed at Homogeneous Metals in Clayville is still being used in their process to manufacture parts found in jet engines being flown all over the world. That is impressive. And so is getting politicians to work together at Albany. It takes a special kind of person to engineer that. Brian puts on the blinders, politics aside, and he works to create better jobs and opportunity for all of us, including our graduates and young people who are finally seeing career opportunities right here at home. Brian fights for seniors, farmers, education, small business, and those of us affected by inflation simply trying to make ends meet. This election, vote Brian Miller, New York Assembly, a representative for all of us. Paid for by Brian Miller for Assembly.
It's fall, and that means truck season at Steep Pawnee Chevrolet. Now's the perfect time to upgrade your ride. Lease the 2025 Chevrolet Trailblazer LS for just $336 a month for 3 years with 10,000 miles per year. Or step up to the all-new and redesigned 2025 Equinox LT with all-wheel drive. Lease for $439 a month with 10,000 miles per year. Looking to buy? We've got an unbeatable deal on the 2024 Silverado Crew Cab LT 4-wheel drive. Get a massive $5,250 rebate and 0% financing. Head to Steep Pawnee Chevy on Route 28 in Herkimer or online at steeppawneechevy.com. These deals end October 31st. Steep Pawnee Chevrolet, where it's always easy to do business. Together, let's drive. Customers must qualify with Top Gear Credit through GM Financial. Lease offer requires a current lease and household, and finance offers require a 2010 or newer Chevrolet trade-in. 0% financing for 36 months. All taxes, fees, $1,000 down, and final payment due on delivery. Must take delivery by October 31st. See salesperson for details.
Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, your trusted tire experts. Their experienced team is here to offer personalized advice for all your tire needs. Now through October 31st, purchase 4 eligible Bridgestone or Firestone tires and receive up to $170 in rebates. Whether you're in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, or Herkimer, their team of professionals is ready to serve you. Schedule your appointment today at tallmanstire.com. Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Get the best tires for your vehicle at unbeatable prices, guaranteed.
You know, the big wireless companies want you to overpay for data that you don't need, but you don't have to settle for that with Pure Talk. Well, you get to choose how much data that you actually want. And for $25 a month, you'll get unlimited talk, unlimited text. You're going to get mobile hotspot, 5 gigs of data. Go with Pure Talk, and you get to choose how much data you actually want. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword save now, and if you do it now, you'll save an additional 50% off your first month from Pure Talk.
This station is brought to you by GPO and their Shred Week, October 19th to 25th at all GPO locations. There will be tailgating, snacks, and free secure paper shredding. Find more info at gpofcu.com.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, let me go to Tanya Powers, who's standing by on the phone line right now. Tanya, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
And here we are, 2 weeks away from, oh, by the way, Jeff Manaski's sitting in here this morning. He hasn't been here for so long, and he's back to say hello.
Yes, I love your voice, and it's so good to actually talk to you once again. And I know our topic this morning.
It's good to hear from you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. You're talking this morning about one candidate who has a word salad and the other one who serves fries out the fast food window. That's our 2 candidates here this morning.
Here we are 2 weeks out. Who's in the lead right now?
Well, it's kind of deadlocked. I mean, it's been the polls that we've been seeing have been, like a point or two here, a point or two there. It's mainly within a margin of error. It's very, very close. I know I feel like a broken record. That's what I've been saying for weeks now. But it is still very, very close. It is hard to kind of get your head around it, but more than 15 million people have already cast ballots. With 2 weeks to go before election day. Yeah, it's kind of that I had to look again. I was like, is that the right number?
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. And some of these states have set records for the first day of early voting. In North Carolina last Thursday, more than 353,000 ballots were cast there. On Friday, about 177,000 ballots were cast in Louisiana. Those 353 ballots were in North Carolina. The Georgia folks also set a daily record for in-person early voting almost every day since their polls opened last Tuesday. So I think that one's more than 1.5 million now that have cast early votes in Georgia. So tons of people have already voted. I know our early voting here in New York is, later this week.
Yeah, this weekend it begins.
Yeah, it starts in a few days, so it's not very far off here either. But it's the polling just continues to be, really, really close. Kind of an overall. When you look at different topics, there's where the change starts to happen, and there's obviously more of daylight between the candidates in there. But yeah, it's definitely more than half of the voters in one of our, just a couple of days ago, our newly released Fox News poll, over half of them, 52%, said they would vote early by mail or absentee. About 47% said that they would vote on Election Day. Either way, you've got... That means a lot of votes have to be counted, each state does them differently, as we found out, very well in 2020. A lot of states do theirs. Some count their early votes, as they come in. Others, like Pennsylvania, don't start counting early and mail-in ballots until after voting is done on Election Day. Then they start those. So it sort of varies state by state. That's one of the reasons that we're kind of like the same states each time. It's not just that they take forever, but it's the way that they count them.
I think in New York, we don't count until the election is over. Is that correct?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think in New York, yes, they wait, I believe.
I think we wait. Either way, it is amazing. And I think it's different this year. I keep getting stuff in the mail saying, do you want, it's not too late do you want your ballot sent to you? And I didn't realize we were still doing that, but it looks like I know you can do an absentee ballot, but this seems to be an absentee ballot for no. Used to have a reason you had to be out of town or something. Today, I don't think you need that anymore. Interesting.
Yeah, some states have gotten rid of you have to have like a reason or something.
Right.
A lot of them have just like increased access and said, okay, well, we'll just send you one if that's what you'd rather do. So.
Okay, interesting. Deadlocked. Hard to believe that there's still anybody out there that hasn't made up their mind, but apparently there's like 4%. I don't know if those 4% are ever going to come out and vote, but we'll see. We'll see where it all goes. Tanya, as always, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.
Tanya Powers from Fox News Radio.
I'm going to actually disagree with what you just said there.
Okay.
And I think typically I would be in 1,000% agreement, but I think this is maybe a change in my lifestyle that's letting me see something a little differently. I don't know if it's me or if they changed or if I changed, but I perceive almost everything that I read politically, no matter whether it's Fox, the Post, you name the outlet, and let me name a couple on the other side so I'm fair here. I guess I can just say the Post or the Times. I perceive everything political is propaganda. I don't think they're genuinely reporting on the candidates. So,
well, it is interesting if you take like one of their websites, take MSNBC's website and read the headlines. Just start reading headlines, and then take Fox News headlines. And there's a reason why neither one can say fair and balanced, and because they both basically picked a side.
Oh yeah,
and they're running with it. So, but I think you have to dig really deep to find. And it puts the pressure on the consumer.
Sure.
And it's not easy to find an independent source to be able to without putting some slant on it.
Right.
It's not easy to find that.
So I think you're absolutely right, and I think the average person is so consumed with, I always hear these conspiracies like for instance, the P. Diddy thing, that this is all a distraction to keep us away from whatever the other thing is.
I haven't paid much attention to it, so it hasn't worked on me.
But I just think the average person is so busy with their kids, their job, their life, their mortgage, their bills, that I used to consume this information so much more when I worked here. And I just feel like if I have a choice, am I going to go get caught up on the latest thing that Trump, who's the latest person that he insulted, or what's the latest thing that Kamala made no sense of that she talked about? I'm like, forget it. It'll be the same story tomorrow and the day after and the day after.
I do think there are people that are obsessed on both sides, and they don't work in the media. So I find this race has become so polarized that you have a lot of people that are very, very interested. But you're right. There's another probably larger section of people who just are like, where this isn't going to mean anything different for me. Life's not going to change for me, and I'm going to get out and vote, or maybe I'm not. But this is not going to change my world. Others will see it that if one wins, the world comes to an end. If the other wins, right? So depending on which side you're on.
And also, too, I think included in that 4% of undecided, believe it or not, because I feel like I know people like this. They will almost openly hem and haw sometimes when this comes up. I don't know, maybe, Trump wasn't that bad. Maybe I'll give him a shot again. Or, I'm sick of Trump. I'm over him. I'm going on to the next one. And the reality is some of them, I think a lot of those people, they're registered Democrat. They're going to vote Democrat on election day regardless. Or if they're registered Republican, they're voting Republican regardless.
When push comes to shove.
When they're in that booth.
I don't know what to do. All right, I'm just going to do the safe thing. So let me take, believe it or not.
Criminally taking photos of their ballot. They're like, I'm just going to go right down there.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the line right now, the one and only Katie Aiello. Good morning.
I just want to say for clarification purposes.
You had me.
That it only took 12 hours for a video to come out.
Oh,
and
you
an
have
undisclosed about me.
So you were
So I
on the air yesterday, and you said, "I'm telling you, there'll be a video about me done by Katie
Yep,
Aiello,"
yep.
and you're saying there is one.
It's saying that I've done nothing on I've done nothing on the council, and I've wasted no time, and I just keep bringing this up, and it's becoming dangerous territory that the Oneida County District Attorney's Office is now getting into political games, trying to defame her.
I'm really shocked that
I've wasted no time.
I'm shocked that she's going after so critical of the DA's office. I mean, she's not making any friends here right now.
I'm still laughing that I knew it wasn't going to be a matter of time before before a YouTube video. You know, the real question should be, what has she done in the 6 years she's been on the council?
Yeah.
You know, instead of wasting this in a Democrat majority, because her Republican colleagues who don't have a majority are constantly attacking her. It's just pathetic.
Well,
it really is.
The real question is why does this controversy even exist? It is not the fault of you or the DA's office or of Joe Beatrice or anybody else. This is this deflection defense that I just am so it's so annoying. It's so annoying.
If I were to file if I were the original person to file the complaint, or anybody on the council was the original person to file the complaint, the fact that it was a private citizen that no one knows, I don't know the name personally of who the person was. That's how this issue became about. You know, so I think that to now use us as the excuse, and I knew this was going to happen the second it came out publicly, that we're the ones that are not wasting time and trying to get rid of her. And that's the whole deflection component, because she still hasn't answered the question publicly of where her primary residence is.
Yeah.
And I think that if she has time to go on another radio show that allowed her to just say whatever they wanted and they agreed with her, I think that that's the reason why she won't come on the show, is that because you will ask her the questions there.
Listen, the anybody that just agrees is a moron. I'm sorry, especially if they have a legal degree, quote unquote, small claims court. I just say, are you kidding? Are you kidding me?
When was
what's that?
When was this posted here? What you just sent me?
9 o'clock last night, so it was about 13 hours.
We'll share this with the audience, so you can get it on X right now.
I mean, and there's conversations in there. I guess June 19th, and I said, Katie, is there an investigation into you? And she said, yes. And then she goes on to this whole big spiel, and then she goes, miraculously, it closed on June 20th. And it's like, what do you think, that I told the DA's office to close the investigation? I mean, the DA was on the radio and specifically said to you guys that none of us were involved in this. So I just wanted, for clarification purposes, for the public to understand this process and how it came about. That was all.
And he confirmed that yesterday, that it was a citizen that complained to the Board of Elections, and who cares who? It's real. That's the problem.
Either way,
there's a real problem
trying to say that it's. And either way, I'm trying to say that it was not politically originated,
right?
And that this obviously was a concern of somebody, so that deflection doesn't make a difference. And hopefully, you can get one of her Democratic colleagues on the radio and on publicly to admit that why didn't they ask one question when this was brought up and totally ignored everything that was about, because they're going to have to answer eventually how they were okay with this as well.
Well, the problem is in this world, we all want the majority, right? We all want to be able to have the ability to get what we want on a board. So you put the politics over what is proper, what should I don't know. I don't want to pass judgment, but I wonder.
There was a meeting last week in regards to ARPA funding, and there was like $12,000 left in an account, and she wanted to make sure that the administration spent that $12,000. And I had to laugh. Number one, there wouldn't be any money left if the current mayor didn't cancel any of the ARPA projects, such as the water slide and things like that. We would be overspending, but there was no question or any meetings in regards to the last 4 years of what the administration spent $60 million on. We're worried about the $12,000 left in the account.
Yeah, you would hope. You would hope that we are in a world where you are responsible enough as a representative to question anything that might not look proper, right? As opposed to only questioning things in regards to the opposing party. That's just terrible politics, especially at the local level. I mean,
honestly, even though I think it was prior to 2019, that council. So it was maybe from 2012 to 2000. I'll even give it to 2018 before the term limit extension. But that was probably the last council that I've seen question the administration based on party politics and things like that. Anything after the term limit extension was just yes, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, you're right.
And here's what I'm telling you to do, and here's how it's going to be done. And now it's kind of, weird for them that they don't get what they want. You know what I mean? Yeah. And now they're questioning how that money's being spent, rather than we could have been really conscious of the fact of how $60 million was spent. So
all right.
even overspending the budget.
And
but that's all I wanted to say.
And let's not forget, when I criticized the alleyway, it was personal against her. They said I had a problem with a young female being in a position of power. Are you kidding me? Look at the freaking thing.
Right.
I mean, that's all I did. I don't know who had anything to do with it.
Who said that you had a problem?
Katie Aiello.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
She said that he was a chauvinist.
Yes. Okay.
Asking her a question.
Yeah.
Also, the Parks Department is there every day cleaning up human
it's a
crap
mess. It's a mess. And I'm gonna impose my male power on you and tell you I have to break. So I've got to cancel this conversation.
That's all right.
All right.
I just had to laugh at you. All right. Take care, guys.
Have a great day. Thank you so much, Sam.
At Mattress Express, we deliver quickly. If you've waited too long for your mattress to be delivered elsewhere, simply bring your receipt in. We will deliver the same or comparable mattress, and we will meet or beat the price and get it to you quickly. Come see us today.
Celebrating our 10th anniversary, the beautiful red, white, and blue will once again appear along Utica's Memorial Parkway as the Good News Center once again presents Flags for Heroes, honoring our active military, veterans, and first responders. Hi, this is Brian Seville, Executive Director of the Good News Center.
And this is Jackie Warmoth, Vice President of Citron's Clinical Development. Be a part of this beautiful tribute displaying the red, white, and blue of 1,000 American flags along the Utica Memorial Parkway, November 1st through the 11th.
All proceeds will benefit Citron's military program. This program helps veterans and service members returning from duty who are faced with physical, psychological, and emotional changes in their lives.
You can show your support and gratitude by sponsoring a flag in honor or memory of your loved one for only $40. Call us
from the Stanley Theater Studio. WIBX Utica, Rome. W295EI. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. A Town Square media station.
The election is now just 2 weeks away. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, but 15 million Americans have already voted early. And people can do that in person in 4 more states today, including Wisconsin, a battleground toss-up where they can cast absentee ballots and where Vice President Harris campaigned last night.
We love our country, and we believe in the foundational principles that are at stake in this election.
Calling former President Trump increasingly unstable. She was joined there and at events in Pennsylvania and Michigan by an anti-Trump Republican, former Congresswoman Liz Cheney.
We're not always going to agree, but I know Vice President Harris will always do what she believes is right for this country.
Former President Trump crisscrossed North Carolina, gathering with church leaders in Concord after a rally in Greenville blaming the vice president for record illegal immigration.
You're either stupid, you hate our country, or they're trying to get them to vote, right?
He also went to flood-ravaged Asheville, critical of the federal response to Hurricane Helene.
Former President Trump again claimed FEMA money was diverted for migrants in the country illegally.
So they don't have any money for the people that live here that got hit by one of the worst storms, possibly the worst storm ever.
FEMA and Homeland Security officials have repeatedly debunked that claim. The administration says more than $300 million in assistance has been approved across North Carolina for more than 87,000 households.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. FEMA has spent hundreds of millions of dollars allocated by Congress for communities and agencies dealing with an influx of migrants here illegally through a separate non-disaster shelter and services program. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel again, pushing for a ceasefire in Gaza days after Israel killed Hamas's leader.
It's unclear what the next few weeks will look like because Hamas needs to figure out its own leadership in order to get back to the table. The U.S. does not know who is calling the shots for Hamas inside Gaza or if anyone is in control.
Fox's Matt Finn in Tel Aviv. America's listening to Fox News.
The socialists who want to move into the White House have a lot of plans for your money. One of them is to control the price of food, and this is just the start. Could 401ks and IRAs be next on their agenda? It might sound far-fetched, but so did price fixing just months ago. Hi, Donald Trump Jr. here. If you've spent decades building your nest egg, you can act now to stop your savings from falling into the hands of the socialists. It's why Americans are turning to gold, the ultimate safe haven in uncertain times. To see how easy it is to diversify your retirement with gold, get a free info kit from my friends at Birch Gold by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. Birch Gold makes it easy to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold while preserving your tax advantage status. Don't wait any longer. Protect your financial future now. Text PROTECT to the number 989898 for your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold company I trust.
Paid for by Birch Gold Group.
A teenager is jailed in Washington state after a shooting at a home yesterday in Falls City outside Seattle that left 5 people dead. 3 of those killed were teenagers. Another teen taken to a hospital. The sheriff's office says it appears to be members of the same family. In New York City, they'll continue trying to get a jury ready to consider a case that's got national attention.
Jury selection began Monday for former Marine Daniel Penny. He's charged with manslaughter for putting a homeless man in a deadly chokehold on a New York subway last May. Witnesses say Jordan Neely was acting erratically and threatening train passengers when Penny moved to restrain him. After the incident, protesters demanded the arrest of Penny, while others expressed support for Penny after he was charged. Neely was black and Penny is white. A total of 45 prospective jurors were told to return Friday for the start of the second phase of questioning. Penny faces up to 15 years in prison if convicted. In New York, I'm Tom Rigotti, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stocks could drop. Futures are falling more than 100 points for the Dow the day after a 344-point plunge down from the Dow Friday record high. But the Nasdaq gained 50 points. On Monday Night Football, 2 games to close out Week 7.
After a full Sunday of football, the NFL provided double the fun to wrap up Week 7. In the first game, the Ravens defeated the Buccaneers 41-31 for their 5th win in a row. After Tampa Bay jumped out to a 10-0 lead, the Ravens' offense ripped off 34 unanswered points. Baltimore had 508 yards of offense, while quarterback Lamar Jackson finished the night with 5 passing touchdowns, tying the Ravens' single-game record. In the late game, the Cardinals took down the Chargers 17-15, thanks to a 32-yard walk-off field goal from kicker Chad Ryland. Joe Morgan, Fox News.
Tonight, the NBA season tips off with 2 games. The defending champion Boston Celtics against the New York Knicks. The LA Lakers play the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
We have clear skies now down to 48 degrees. We've lost a degree there. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. Well, we are just 2 weeks away from Election Day, and the candidates in the 22nd Congressional District are receiving endorsements. Republican and incumbent Congressman Brandon Williams picking up the support of the Syracuse Police Department Union. His Democratic challenger, State Senator John Mannion, is being endorsed by the New York State Troopers Union. The 22nd District, of course, covers parts of Oneida counties, Cayuga and Cortland, along with all of Madison and Onondaga counties. The Humane Society in Rome looking to track down the person responsible for abandoning a puppy. The dog, who is between 10 and 12 weeks old, was found on Elpis Road in Vienna yesterday. The canine was wrapped in a blanket. It's believed the animal may have been left out in the cold weather for several hours. There are concerns the puppy may have a virus, and it's unknown if the dog will be able to survive. Anyone with information on the case is asked to come forward and contact local authorities. Well, Halloween just around the corner as well, and there will be an outdoor showing of the movie Nightmare Before Christmas. You can find full details on that on our website at WIBX950.com. And have you ever had pests in your backyard or trying to get in the garbage? Well, a family in Whitesboro were enjoying the weekend one evening this weekend, I should say, when their kids were outside. They were met with unexpected visitors. They went to their front door to see what the problem was. They saw a gang of several animals. They looked cute on the surface. It appeared they had ulterior motives, though. You can see photos of these raccoons eating the pumpkins that were out on the front porch. Just head to our website, WIBX950.com. WIBX News Time is 7:08. Here's your Weather Center forecast.
Here's the latest forecast from the WIBX Weather Center. Another good-looking day, another mild day, well above average in terms of temperatures. Clear through the first part of the day and sun this afternoon, about 80. Cool night tonight, but could be a lot colder, mainly clear, 55. And we'll see our next change come in tomorrow, gusty breeze and a couple of showers late, probably after 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 75. Sun returns. Here comes the cooler fall-like weather Thursday. No sunny, 55. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Clear skies, 48 degrees, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM news time 7:08. All right, checking in on sports, we'll begin with Monday Night Football last night. The Baltimore Ravens stayed red hot after starting 0-2. They're now 5-2. They scored 34 unanswered points as they beat the Buccaneers 41-31 last night. 2 games on tap as the Cardinals came from behind in the fourth quarter to beat the Chargers 17-15. The Giants not ready to make a change under center. Head coach Brian Daboll reiterating Monday that Daniel Jones is the team's starting quarterback. The World Series begins on Friday. It'll be the 12th time the Dodgers and Yankees meet in the Fall Classic, and it's possible that Nasty Nestor will be ready for the World Series. Aaron Boone saying on Monday there's a good chance that the veteran lefty could return to the roster. Cortez has been on the injured list since September 25th with an elbow flexor strain. The 29-year-old status for the series will be determined after a live bullpen session later today. Cortez posted a 3.77 ERA in 31 games during the regular season. The World Series starts on Friday in Los Angeles. And I want to mention here the Syracuse Orange, 5-1. Hey, Cuse.
We should be undefeated, by the way.
What happened?
We shouldn't have lost that. Who did we lose to, Davey? That we shouldn't have lost to?
We lost to Stanford.
Shouldn't have lost that game.
They outsmarted them. They'll play at Pittsburgh on Thursday night, 6-0. The Thursday night college game, what's up with that, Smitty?
There's always a Thursday night college game.
Yeah.
Syracuse played before.
Well, this is going to be an interesting one because they're 6-0. They're ranked 17th. This would be a very big win. This could be a tough game.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason I asked about the night they're playing is because it's always talked about that there's this gentleman's agreement between the NFL and college football that essentially, with a few exceptions, depending on the time of the year, we don't take Friday nights away from you. Don't schedule your games on Sunday.
But there have always been Thursday night games and Wednesday night games. You'll get some of the smaller teams. Believe me, you'd get a Thursday morning phone call years ago. It's like, what did Buck College do against Western Kentucky? And you'd be like, why does anybody care about that?
Yeah. I just think that's funny that Friday nights is off limits. Saturday is off limits.
College football on Thursdays came before NFL on Thursdays.
I'm just surprised that NFL went after that night with it being a college night. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to. There's a couple. I just wanted to add something to follow up on the conversation that we ended the hour with.
You do that, and then I'm going to tell you the real reason why you can't take a picture of your ballot after you have voted. I have an answer for you. So what do you have?
Okay. So I just want to say this. I do think the whole Aiello situation, the one thing I agree with, and I'll explain it. I do think it's politically motivated. Whether it was a citizen who came forward, or someone in politics, it doesn't matter. But I think the issue was raised based on what I know or what I've heard by someone connected to a candidate. I don't think that matters or changes anything.
Yeah. So in the situation of the school board, when Anthony LaPola had been reelected to the board, and all of a sudden there was a problem. It turns out he has a residency issue. I think everybody did what they were supposed to do, and he got off the board. That's not happening here. So that's also politics, though, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that there are 5 members of the council who aren't willing to do anything about it, or 4, that's political.
Yes.
So I think you're absolutely right. It is political, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
That's how our system is made up. There's there are two sides, and one side is keeping an eye on the other side.
So, having said that, okay, granted, it's all political, but where do you actually live? That's
a very
still
good
the
point.
question.
I don't think it is a question, to be honest with you.
I actually agree with you.
All right. So we brought up earlier that there was a story in the Syracuse paper this morning saying that you cannot take a picture, a selfie, with your ballot filled out after you vote. It is against election law. So we're all saying, why? I don't understand. Why would that be a situation? Well, I just spoke to someone who went back a little bit in history for us, and that is Ray Meyer. So Ray is saying, and this completely makes sense, that during the days when there was some corruption, and maybe this was in certainly prevalent in Chicago, but it was prevalent here as well. What would happen is people would buy votes. And the way you would prove to the person who was buying your vote is you would fill out the vote and you would have a picture taken showing how you voted. You would take that back to the, quote, boss, and you would then be paid. So that is why today it is illegal still. And it's one of those laws that probably doesn't mean all that much today, but it's still on the books. Gotcha. Chances are somebody isn't going to come running over to you if you take a photo and be like, you can't do that. We're going to come after you for that. But it still does remain on the books.
That's interesting. It does make sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you to Ray Meyer. Got a break. Coming up, we have a bunch to get to. Assemblyman Brian Miller is coming in studio. We'll speak with him. Dr. Kent Hall. People are getting sick. Everybody seems to be getting sick right now. We'll speak to Dr. Hall. There's another virus going around that, like a stomach thing that people are getting, but not enough to keep you, out of work or out of school. They just go to school and go to work and spread it. We'll talk to the doc coming up in just a second. And Hobica's free money question of the day. Davey this morning on the line. How much money are we talking about today?
$150.
$150 on the line. We'll do that coming up at 7:35. Your chance to win from Hobica and WIBX. New York Sash has their bathroom makeover sale going on right now. Financing options are available. This can be done in 2 days. It's incredible. You walk in, you look at your bathroom on day one, and then it becomes 9 o'clock and New York Sash arrives. By the end of day 2, your bathroom is done. Completely remodeled, completely done over. A new tub, a new shower, a new walk-in shower, whatever it is, or walk-in tub, safety, all the stuff that you might be looking for, they can do it at New York Sash for less and in just a day or two. Call them today at 315-624-7344 or visit them at 349 Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro. Visit NewYorkSash.com. Get a new bathroom in just 2 days from New York Sash.
This station is brought to you by Tallman's Tire, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
Hey everyone, it's Lisa from Fit Body Bootcamp. It's October. That means it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And if you know me, I love to give back to our community. Are you a local business owner? If so, my team and I would love to challenge you to burpees for boobies. All you have to do is contact us for more information, and we can do burpees together. This year, we are donating every single penny to Making Strides of Utica. Want to nominate your friends to a challenge? Simply donate to nominate and help us reach our goal. Together, we can make a difference in the fight against breast cancer.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for the past 52 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingshedantique.com.
Hi, this is Paul Collis from Fred F. Collis & Sons with some exciting news about NYSERDA's Empower Plus program. This program provides our income-eligible customers with free home energy upgrades like insulation, heat pumps, and hybrid water heaters. As an example, a family of 4 making under $93,000 can qualify for between $5,000 and $24,000 in free upgrades. Count on Collis to improve your comfort and start the process by scheduling your free home energy assessment at fredfcollis.com.
Shop the My Carl's floor sample clearance at My Carl's. Recliners from $249, bedrooms from $499, mattresses from just $99. My Carl's, New Hartford Shopping Center.
You'll find no shortage of work to do in a New Holland Workmaster or Boomer compact tractor. Available now at Clinton Tractor. Get 0% financing for 72 months, plus no payments for 90 days, or choose cash back on these 24 to 55 horsepower compact and subcompact tractors. Stop into Clinton Tractor today or at clintontractor.net. Offer ends soon.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Shop with confidence at Mattress Express with our brand name low price guarantee. When you buy a mattress at Mattress Express, if you see it advertised locally within 30 days of purchase, bring it to our attention. We simply refund the difference. Go to mattressexpressny.com.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Okay. All right, in studio here right now is Assemblyman Brian Miller. We're going to speak with Brian coming up after the free money question of the day. Although I will start right now by saying, how goes it out there? How are you doing out there on the campaign trail?
Well, we're having a lot of fun.
Going through shoes and all of that.
Well, I got a little smarter this year. I bought a couple pair of sneakers, and it's a little easier
good.
on the hips and back. So
have you seen the new? Are they called Hoka sneakers?
Oh, I don't know about this.
Is that anybody know about that? Do you know about that? Nobody knows.
Never heard of it.
You have to look it up. Apparently, they're the most comfortable sneakers on the planet. And let's see. Yeah, Hoka. Yep.
More cushion, more running.
Yeah.
That's their slogan.
It is. I have a pair, and you feel like you do not feel like you're secure to the ground. You almost feel, just like it says, like you're kind of walking on air.
Wow.
And in fact, it explains. It comes with a little bit of a disclaimer. You have to get used to wearing these sneakers, and you do. But look them up. I think they have them wherever you buy your sneakers. And for you, I think it would be perfect.
Well, I think it would be.
I mean, you'd be floating through the neighborhoods.
Campaigning's changed a little bit. Before, you just walk across lawns.
Right.
Now you got to walk up the driveway, along the walk. They got cameras on the porch.
Everybody's got a camera.
And,
yeah.
It's really changed. It's not like you're saying crazy things, but
correct.
There's somebody watching you every minute.
It's a different world.
That's a great idea, to use your doorbell ring cam to go back 2 years or 4 years later and see what the politicians said and what they actually lived up to. Like you were on my stoop in 2006, but now it's 2010, and I obviously any year works there, but I want to know, you promised to do this. You promised to do this.
I got to tell you, I could see somebody as bold as coming right out with a camera, their cell phone, being like, "All right, I'm going to tape you. I'm going to tape what you say. I want to see if you follow through on it the next time."
But it's so subtle that, and it's possible, and I'm not talking about Brian, but you could forget that, hey, we're being recorded, so you're more apt to say things
you're right.
that you wouldn't say when you're on camera. And not talking about Brian. I know he owns it, and he'd say it whether it was being recorded or not, but it just would be interesting, I think.
So we just installed a whole new system because my wife, and I think this has everything to do with the fact we had the naked guy who was trying to get into our house.
What?
And get into our cars. This was about 2 weeks ago. And we immediately went to the Ring cameras. And he was not even a guy. I think he was more of like a 22-year-old. But that's a guy.
That's a guy.
That's a guy. Not that I would know.
Did you ask him what his pronouns were?
I did not ask, but
you saw
he was busy being chased by me and 2 other neighbors down the street because he was trying to get into our vehicles and then trying to get into the backyard, into the garage, into the neighbor's truck, and yeah.
Oh my God!
But you know what? We checked the Ring camera, nothing, and my wife is like, "We got a naked guy in the front of the house, and it's not even showing up on the cameras. We need new cameras." So I think that's the reason we have new cameras. Real story, yeah. And he was ultimately arrested. Probably, I don't know what makes you take all your clothes off. Probably drugs.
Yeah, probably.
You're probably
meth
and
or
something that makes you feel so hot that you just rip all your clothes off.
Well, wasn't that the bath salts?
Bath salts.
That
was the thing.
They were people were up on top of the roofs naked and doing.
That's exactly
crazy stuff.
it. He was probably on bath salts. No matter what, he ran down the street and then over into another neighborhood, and all of a sudden I'm looking around to turn all the lights on. I've got this very powerful flashlight and looking, and all of a sudden I hear a neighbor from far away say, "Get away from my house." And then I hear a police siren, and that's when they got him.
Oh, they did get him?
They did get him, yeah.
Wow. So...
But I mean, it's, yeah.
Where was he going to put whatever
he probably was looking to get in a car to go to sleep. It was cool out,
Where? I was going to say, if he was breaking in to grab cash or electronics or whatever.
I don't think he. Right, where
was he going to put it?
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's a place he could put it.
I could
have put it there for him.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh boy.
Very good point.
That's where Bill was going to put the flashlight too.
See
how bright this thing is.
It's a very large
Lit
flashlight.
up his teeth from the inside.
Anyway, the world we live in today, right? You just don't know what you're gonna come across. It makes having a politician come knock on your door look pretty good.
Yes, it would, I guess. Yes,
oh, boy. All right. I wanted to just, and we'll get to Brian coming up in a few minutes. I just wanted to tell you that if you have an iPhone, and which you do, right? You and Davey, you do as well. If you have the iPhone, and there are some features, even if you don't have the current iPhone, what is that, the 16? There are some features that are going to be, there's a new part 2 of the operating system coming out next week. And it'll mean new features on your iPhone. Do you know what some of these are?
Is one of them to do with the calendar and the clock?
Maybe. I don't know.
I know you said it's not coming until next week, but when I woke up this morning, my home screen was a calendar and a clock next to it. And I've never set that up before.
Well, because... do you have a charger that is, how do you charge your phone?
It's wired to the wall. It's allegedly a lightning charge or a fast charge.
Does your phone sit on it like that? So if it's done landscape, it'll automatically turn into an alarm clock. It'll have a calendar and a clock. That's probably what you were seeing.
I wonder if
that's been around for a while. Anyway, here are the new features.
I've never seen it before.
I want to throw at you some new features that are coming up in the new operating system. Writing tools, they're using AI. Chat GPT will be used. It allows you to rewrite, proofread, and summarize nearly everything you write. You can hit a button and it will make the corrections for you.
Yeah, see,
I know.
Make the corrections for you. Sometimes I'm trying to say the word that they don't want me to say.
All of a sudden, you propose to your girlfriend, and it's like, I didn't mean to do that. Well, Siri thinks you should. Improved Siri with a new design. You'll be able to say things You ever try to say something to Siri and you change your mind and Siri gets all confused?
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're calling somebody you don't want to call.
Yes.
That is going to be corrected. You'll be able to shift topics, and ultimately, through AI, Siri will be able to figure out what it is you're trying to say, like a human being would be able to. Although there are times when my wife will be like, I cannot follow you. Siri will be able to. So feel good about that. Priority notifications. When you get your notifications saying you have to do something or there's something on your calendar, it'll prioritize that. So if there's something coming up this morning at 9, it'll be very bold on your phone. It just automatically will work. Same thing with emails. Your emails can be prioritized. It'll go in and actually read them, and if there's something important, I don't know how this works, but it's all AI. If there's something important, it'll put it out to the forefront where you will see it. Reducing interruptions, email summaries. You can get, instead of going in and you know that person that writes an email and it's just way too long, click a button and it'll summarize it in 3 sentences. You'll be done. I like that. You can record and transcribe phone calls in the Notes app.
That's cool.
That is pretty cool, especially for our business.
Yes.
So you can record something and it'll transcribe it, like say you were doing an interview and writing a story. I like that. Smart Reply, it'll reply for you.
And that's no extra cost? This is just a feature of the phone?
It's all part of the update. The AI comes into play starting next week. So pretty cool. Let me go to Dr. Kent Hall, who is our version of AI, very smart guy, who tells us the things that we need to know. Doc, good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Good. Some of these things I would assume that we are seeing in terms of technology and artificial intelligence, I do think will help us in the medical world.
They do. We already have some that are working. The one that jumps to mind for me right away is some help with radiologists, the doctors that read x-rays and CAT scans and things like that. There are AI applications that are actually helping them, sift through, because there's a lot of information and looking at, literally, hundreds of images for a CAT scan and stuff.
Right.
And so that it all already exists. There is another thing that I know that the Mohawk Valley Health System is going to be instituting in the near future for its primary care. I believe just primary care, although it may also be the specialty care clinics, which is to help docs with their documentation. It will actually be in the room and it will be listening and will actually document. So instead of the doctor having to document while they're talking to you, they can just be talking to you and engaging with you. And this will be doing it in the background. And then it'll go over it. The doctor has the ability to go over that with you before you leave to make sure that everything is accurate. I know that they're talking about rolling that out. I don't know exactly what the time frame is.
Well, that's pretty amazing. I was in a doctor's appointment where the doctor did not have an assistant, but subscribed to a service where he dialed up a number, and the woman came on a speaker, and I had to give permission. She was listening in and taking notes for the doctor from far away. I don't know where the service is located, but kind of an interesting, all sorts of different things that can assist today to make things, I guess, more accurate for the patient.
Well, and the goal is twofold. Yes, certainly to make things more accurate because you're recording things in real time as opposed to what you remember was said. And the other is really to try and make it so that we physicians can actually get back to engaging with the patient in the moment as opposed to documenting things on a computer, which it's putting a device between me and a patient was never one of my favorite things. It felt like it was an intrusion, and so that is something that we'll get back. Hopefully, we'll get back to actually having kind of a human engagement too. So,
however, when it comes to reading X-rays or reading any of those pictures that are taken of your body, oftentimes, you hear stories, maybe not so often, but you hear stories where somebody missed something.
Yeah.
And having AI to be able to check your work is probably a real positive.
Yeah, I would say so. So just to be clear, it really is just the opposite. Is that AI looks at it and kind of gives a pre-read, and then the radiologist goes in and makes sure that what AI is saying is actually true.
Right. That makes sense.
But the principle is the same. Is that basically you're getting a double read.
Yeah.
And that I think is going to be helpful because I'm not a radiologist. I'll tell you that my son is, but I'm not a radiologist. But I will say that I can only imagine what it would be like having to go through like I said, literally hundreds of scans to try and make sure that you're picking up everything that is there. It's just the amount of information is just huge.
Speaking with Dr. Kent Hall, of course, the doc was with us through all of COVID, is now retired and taking photos, beautiful photos of nature and all over the place. By the way, Mike asks, I wonder if AI will take your photos for you and automatically make them look perfect. I find the AI fix doesn't always look too good.
No, that's true. Although I will say I follow a number of professional photographers, and one of the big conversations now is will artificial intelligence, make commercial photography go away? And there is a belief that some elements of it will.
Sure.
You can't do AI for like wedding photography and things like that.
Sure,
So,
right.
in the moment, but for, what used to be called stock photography, that basically doesn't exist anymore because AI works for that.
It's amazing. You can have a photo made. And right now, I think you can kind of tell when something is made by AI.
Yeah.
But it's really good.
Yeah, it's
and
getting
you
better,
wonder,
too.
as it gets better, you're probably right.
That's what
Okay, and then
scares me.
finally, I wanted to ask you, I know that one thing that you talked about during COVID was the development of the vaccine. I'm not talking about vaccines here, but I'm talking more about finding that the efforts we made to create the vaccine and how quickly it was done, and then the addition of AI has combined for a real possibility to come up with cures to certain diseases. And I'll reference Harvey Weinstein this morning, who caught my attention because he's been diagnosed with chronic myeloid leukemia, same thing that I have. And prior to 2002, I believe it was, there was, I think the survival rate was about 40% of people. You may have a bone marrow transplant, chemotherapy, and radiation, but there wasn't a medicine like there is today that targets the disease, which allows Harvey Weinstein and me and others with it to be able to survive a normal life without. I mean, this medicine is a miracle. So I'm wondering, is this where we're going? In another 10 years, another 20 years, are people going to be diagnosed with a disease such as cancer and end up taking a pill for the rest of their life to maybe not cure it, but to very much do what it does for me? It allows me to manage it to the point where I will live a normal life.
Yeah, so that is certainly the goal. And do I think that we are on that path? Absolutely. So that is the use of targeted treatments. So you look at the genetic makeup of a disease for an individual, and then you can develop a medication or a treatment that specifically targets that genetic makeup, so that it actually works to kill or control the cancer, but doesn't have all the side effects of the medications that we currently use, which are basically
chemo, radiation,
right? Because chemo basically is it attacks cells that are dividing quickly, and cancer cells divide very quickly, but other cells in your body divide quickly too, hence why people get hair loss and why they get the stomach upset and stuff like that. So, this is the path that we're on. It's really targeted individualistic treatment, which is going to be really beneficial. We're in the early middle stages of it, but I think that it's going to come across for a number of different types of cancer. So we are on the right path there.
And in this medicine that I take every day, so mine is caused by overproduction of white blood cells, which like massive overproduction, which turn out to be cancerous. So what this medicine does, it just shuts it down. It goes in and targets the production of white blood cells and stops it. It's incredible. And it doesn't get rid of the cancer, but it brings it to zero, and you will live a normal life. That's just miraculous when you think about it. And you wonder how many other targeted type medicines there will be going down the road. Something to really be hopeful for, and hopefully sooner than later, right?
Well, right. And so I was just reading earlier today, actually, that the first patient who got gene therapy for treatment of sickle cell disease was just released from the hospital yesterday.
Wow.
And that's another therapy that is coming along. It's not a medication, but it is basically changing the genetic makeup of a person in such a way that the gene that causes the disease, in this case sickle cell disease, is taken out of their replaced with the normal gene that most everybody has.
Wow. So maybe all the time we're trying to cure cancer, we should have been trying to neutralize it. Much like what was done with the AIDS virus. When you think about it, people are able to live with it today, unlike the tragedy that occurred back in the 80s. So, all right, Doc, interesting stuff as always. We appreciate your insight.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you talking to me. And again, as always, please, everybody, be safe.
All right. Are you trying to add something?
It was a little COVID story, but we can skip the COVID.
Doc, thank you. We appreciate it. Have a great day.
Okay, take care, everybody.
Nobody wants to talk about COVID anymore.
No, I know.
COVID, it's over with. Not really. Well, especially Brian. I mean, how could you bring it up in front of Brian?
Well, I'll tell you this.
Never happened.
I've mentioned before that I had my aunt, my great aunt. It's my grandmother's sister, and on that side of the family, that I'm blessed. Hopefully I get all their genes. They live long lives. They've done really well. Even my grandmother who had cancer made it to like 88.
Yeah.
And we celebrated her 100th birthday in mid-August.
Wow.
At the party, of course, big celebration, and she still lives alone. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
She struggles with stairs, really has a struggle with stairs, but still lives alone. And so we had people in from out of town, and she got COVID. Was in the hospital for 3 or 4 days, and then she's, last I knew, she's still in a rehab facility. I was going to say nursing facility, but a rehab facility. But she's preparing to go back home, and I was just so happy.
100.
At 100 years old. How about that? And, tragically, and I know we mentioned the situation with Brian.
Well, they didn't know how to deal with when you had it.
I got an opening day. And
right in the beginning.
Yeah.
See if this works.
Yeah.
Well, and what I was
became a test tube.
Was going to ask Dr. Hall about is the evolution of viruses and things, and because didn't they say that it became less harmful?
Each time it reproduces,
evolves.
it becomes less deadly. Supposedly,
her son, my great aunt's son, actually, we lost him, and I talked about this on the air. He went to an event when COVID was still a thing, in 21.
Yeah,
maybe it was 22. But he had been, wasn't going anywhere. I don't remember the exact circumstances, but they all met up someplace in Texas and to go to a sporting event, and he ran into his buddies. This was like the only thing he had done to leave the house, and then ended up getting COVID and passed away. And he was only in his 60s, and she's 100, and we're at a point now where she's like kicking it off her.
I think it's a combination, and Brian, you probably know more about this because you've been through a very bad bout with COVID. But as the virus weakens each year, it weakens a little bit. But we also know a lot more on how to treat it.
Oh yeah, we know a lot more
versus
about
what you went to the ventilator, and that was.
Ventilator,
we now think that's the wrong move.
Yeah. No, a lot of good things have come from COVID. There was a lot of opportunities. We learned a lot about it.
Yeah.
I got COVID again 3 years almost to the date. I had it the first time, and it was Paxlovid was developed at that time. 3 days later, I was better.
It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
But the virus as it mutates.
It is getting weaker.
It's weaker and weaker.
Yeah,
and weaker.
thankfully. All right, let's do. We're going to talk to Brian. I have I really want to do something with you today that's a little bit different than we've ever done before. So get ready for this. Good times. No, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm telling you. Davey, free money question of the day from Hobica. We're looking for caller number what? And we're doing $150.
4.
Caller what?
4.
What? You all right in there?
No.
Okay. All right, caller number 4. That answer I'm not even going to ask. Caller number 4 at 315-736-0186 right now from WIBX.
Are you sick of being just a number or doing a mindless job? Become a craftsman in a trade. Become an IBEW electrician. The IBEW and the Electrician Training Alliance will give you all the tools necessary at their state-of-the-art training facility. Earn as you learn. Paid training while you get your certification. What are you waiting for? Become an IBEW Local 43 electrician. Call or go online today to learn more. Find your career at IBEW and let the Electrician Training Alliance light up your future.
Need new tires? Nokian Tires is celebrating 90 years of legendary Hakkapeliitta winter tires with a consumer rebate. Now through October 31st. When you buy 4 select winter, all-season, and all-weather tires, you can save up to $80 by mail on a MasterCard prepaid card. Offer expires October 31st, 2024. Experience the thrill of savings on every mile at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Visit their stores and meet their team of experts, or schedule your appointment online at tallmanstire.com.
3 things to remember about Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshot. 1. Marianne is the most independent member of the State Assembly. No majority member votes for us more than she does. 2. Marianne is the only Mohawk Valley representative who has a seat at the table of power. She's in the room, pushing back against the downstate agenda. And 3. Marianne is one of the few true moderates in the State Assembly. As a result, she's supported by New York's most important labor unions and endorsed by the Business Council and the National Federation of Independent Businesses. Assemblywoman Buttonshot supports small business, police, firefighters, and first responders. She's a career educator who delivered record increases in aid for local schools. She's a farmer who understands and supports other farmers. And she's reasonable, tough, and independent. Vote for Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshot. She fights for the Mohawk Valley first. Paid for by Friends of Marianne Buttonshot and not by the taxpayers of New York State.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to health care, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM is celebrating its 99th birthday with talk show host and comedian Jimmy Fallon.
Hey, it's your radio buddy Jimmy Fallon, and I am coming. This is not a drill, folks.
Jimmy Fallon, heard on WIBX and radio stations around the country weekdays and seen on his live TV show Saturday nights on Fox News Channel, is coming for one show only, Friday, December 6th at 8 p.m. at the Rome Capitol Theater.
What you've just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever
ever heard.
Tickets start at $47 and are on sale now at RomeCapital.com. RomeCapital.com.
Bottom of the ninth on this show. I'm heading up to Utica. I'm doing the show live from WIBX tomorrow. Hanging out with my man Davey.
Jimmy Fallon, one night only at the Rome Capitol Theater from Keeler in the morning. And WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Celebrating 99 amazing years. Get your tickets at RomeCapital.com.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Show sponsored in part by First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX 950 at 92.3 FM. Let's do this, baby.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
I got to say, I want to just, if I can, and Brian, you probably, are you in the town of New Hartford?
Yes, I am.
You are? I would like to compliment the town of New Hartford for doing such a tremendous job and being able to get all of that garbage off my front lawn without digging up the lawn. I don't know how they do it. They're really good.
They did a great job.
And there's so much garbage on the it's the time where you put out all your junk, right? Sure. And there's so much out there. These guys are moving fast and they're doing a tremendous job.
Well, we had a lot of people still picking up metal out of a lot of it, so that kind of helped.
As of last night, I had somebody that went through everything and took every piece of anything that was metal was gone last night. It was crazy. I don't know how he knew to get underneath, but I mean, even like an umbrella that you know, like a lawn umbrella type thing, that has metal.
Yeah.
They took it,
picked it up, and
took
gone.
everything. I loved it.
And then did he take the umbrella fabric for clothing, or this wasn't the naked guy?
No, it wasn't
a different
the naked
guy.
It would have been nice. A different guy. Different guy. Let me go to Ken right now. And Skyler, ready to take a shot at Habaika's free money question of the day. Ken, good morning.
Good morning. And just let me state this, Bill. I
Yes,
can
sir.
affirm both that my domicile is in the town of Schuyler.
Okay. All right. Very important, because we were going to disqualify you if we found out you were also living in Herkimer. So, all right, Ken, good stuff. Well, I think you got a doable question here today. It's worth $150. And are you ready to go?
Yes, sir.
This comes from the Habaika Law Firm at 315-724-1600. Here we go. What two words were combined to make the one word and brand name Spam? Ready, go.
Pork shoulder and ham.
Pork shoulder and ham. Ham is correct. Is it pork shoulder? Turns out it was spiced ham.
Oh, really?
Spiced ham is spam. Yeah. I guess I'd never heard that before.
I have not heard that either.
Do we have anything else we can give him, Davey? How about a pair of Pioneers tickets, too?
And a pat on the back.
Would you like that,
Give
Ken?
him a verbal pat on the back.
Pioneers High. I'm going to let you work that out with Davey. See what we can give him, all right? Come on, Davey. Cheer up. We'll play commercials soon. I promise. Okay. Stand by, Ken. We're going to give you all the all-in-one food and fun card, too. It's a $25 gift card. Davey's going to hook you up. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Who we know for sure unequivocally lives in Schuyler. Thank you.
You got it.
All right. Boy, that KDIL thing is just has a lot of life. Would you hook him up with headphones, because then you'll be able to hear Brian when you got to be tight on that microphone. Okay, so in studio is Assemblyman Brian Miller. He is of course up for re-election. Brian is somebody who serves at least in our area. You can't hear anything? He can't hear anything?
No, I can hear him. I just don't like wearing these things.
Oh, you don't? Take them off. Don't worry about it. Don't listen to me.
Oh, I can listen to you
Just stay tight on the mic. That's all I ask for. All right. But I thought what we would do, I do think that I learned something recently. We were on a tour of
homogeneous metals.
Homogeneous metals. And what a facility that place is. It's this incredible gem that does so much when it comes to airplanes around the world, and it's all done right here.
Oh, wow. And
I also learned you were a major part of creating all of that.
Well, I was a part of it. There was a great team. Homogeneous Metals has been here for...
Started in Herkimer, right?
Started down in Herkimer, Route 28.
Yeah.
That's where I first went to work down there back in a long time ago, back in 1980.
Wow.
1980. And the facility up in Clayville was purchased at that time, and it was a knitting mill back in the turn of the century. And then Kelsey Hayes was there. The Sequoia Creek runs behind it, and Kelsey Hayes made blades. And we found a lot of blades in the creek. It must be when some of the guys were working on them, they didn't.
This one didn't work out.
Out the window it went.
Yeah. That's funny.
But there was the process was invented in Washington Mills in a guy's garage.
That is wild.
And it was really a unique process. It was a different way of forming powdered metal. Instead of pouring down and dropping it in forming it, it was blown up into a vacuum chamber and super cooled, and that's how it was made. So we took an old knitting mill, 3 floors with the old columns, and we turned it into a modern manufacturing facility.
And those columns play a big role.
Oh yeah, that's all structure
That's
for
what
the
it's all
building.
about. So Brian had said to me, it's really an easy process. Does it sound easy to you?
No, it doesn't.
He's an engineer. That's
well, if you break it down, everything like when I went to work at Bartell Machinery after I left Homogeneous Metals, there was tire machines out there that made beads, and you looked at it and was like, oh my God, look at this thing. But just break it down into pieces.
Right.
Like you guys do right here.
Well, we try to. Sometimes doesn't work out for us.
No.
And then, so you also started your education at Mohawk Valley Community College.
Mohawk Valley Community College, and I worked with a lot of many of the team members in the engineering department and process engineering were Mohawk Valley grads.
Yeah.
And we were homegrown people.
It was like 5 or 6 of you that actually.
Yes, it was a whole team of us.
Homogeneous Metals.
And we had a great engineering department. We had a great process department. The process was developed. We just perfected it.
Right.
We turned it into to basically what it is today.
The other thing people might not know about you, I just feel like you're the candidate that we don't know a lot about. Right? And it's funny because I've worked with your campaign for a long time, and we never asked those questions. It's just like, get him elected. But here, all of a sudden, I'm thinking people need to, which is why I think that the Homogeneous Metal story is a great story. No one knew. But you're also, going way back, a friend of ours, Karen, said, you ought to ask Brian about his days as an athlete, because you were quite an athlete.
I was a good athlete. That was a long time ago, too.
Well, that's how you're able to walk the campaign trail, I believe.
Absolutely. I talked today. I was at Canastota the other night, and they were inducting people into the Canastota High School Hall of Fame, and they had one inductee there from the 1948 Canastota undefeated football team.
Wow.
So I went over and talked to the gentleman. His name was Biff. I can't remember his last name. And I said, do you remember the third play in the second quarter? And he goes, absolutely. We ran a 30 belly and this. And I looked at his wife, and I said, my wife would ask me the same thing. How do you remember everything that happened?
Right.
But being an athlete probably was one of the biggest things that gave me the drive for today. And I was very fortunate. I was a good high school athlete.
It's the competition. Is that the drive you're talking about? Wanting to compete,
the training,
measure yourself against somebody else,
to be able to deal with adversity, things like that.
The other thing I find interesting is that your ability to. So you have, as an athlete, you have to, you can be that outstanding athlete, but you still have to work as a team. I mean, especially in football and basketball and all of these sports, it's a team sport, very much like politics should be, but isn't. But you find ways to, because you're in the minority in the assembly in a supermajority Democrat state.
You're right, and
you got to figure out ways to get stuff done.
This way, you have to work it as a team.
Yeah,
because you are a player in the team, but you're not the high scorer on the basketball team.
Right.
You're like the sixth man.
Right.
You're very, very important, but you have to find a way to contribute this way. And down
That's
in
a
Albany,
process.
Our conference has really found a way to contribute. And when people say that we don't have a seat at the table, we have a seat at the table. We just do it a different way.
Right. And that has to be creative, right? With all the things you've done in your past, that probably contributes to that.
I was just going to say that's why sometimes you'll see in the halls of Congress or in this, the state houses, there's signs that say no free layups. You got to hack them.
No free layups. There's never a free layup. It's something else I did after school and after starting my engineering career. I coached over at Sequoia too, and that was probably one of my biggest passions. I coached basketball and baseball there, and it was during the time of the early time of the Big East. So we wore our sweaters, and Boeheim was a young man with the big glasses.
Yeah.
Going wild, and
those were great days.
That was great days. And one of the biggest, one of the biggest things I still enjoy from my coaching days when you're walking through a grocery store and you say, some guy in the other aisle says, "Hey, Coach, how are you?"
That's a pretty cool thing.
And that really, I shaped some kids' lives. And I was over at Mount Markham, and the principal down there played ball for me, and he says that was the best teams I ever played for in my life. So it was really pretty neat.
I got to tell you, the greatest thing in the world for me was this one time I was driving, and maybe I was going a little too fast, and the trooper walked up and said, "Remember me? I was on your junior high wrestling team back in such and such a." So I was hoping he liked me, and it all worked out. I promised to never speed again. You learn a lot from coaching. I almost feel like when you're coaching, you learn more about the sport than at any other time because you have to strategize it and break it down.
Well, you just couldn't be physical. You had to use your mind in this. So you really had to understand the game, and you had to be a student of the game.
Yeah.
And I will say I had a coach in high school that probably made the biggest impact on my life. And he's still around, and he made an impact on my life, and I wanted to do that for other kids. But you take all these things, you put it together, and these life experiences really help you.
Yeah.
At the political level that I am.
Because it is it's a competition.
It's a contact sport.
It is a contact sport. That's a good way of putting it. All right, I just thought it'd be a good time for us to get to know Brian Miller just a little more. So.
But along with that, I bought an orchard, and I had never grew an apple in my life. Bought it out of the penny saver. There was an orchard on the other side of the valley where I lived, and I'd picked over there, worked a little bit, pruned a little bit for the guy who owned it. But I bought it, walked in not knowing anything about growing apples, and spent a lot of time at Cornell. But I used all the things that I learned from my life experiences.
Another shock. Did you know Brian Miller was an apple orchard owner? By the way, quickly,
no idea.
10 seconds. Cider, homogenized or not?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm afraid it can give you really a bad gut ache and then some other problems.
Well, homogenous.
So. Be careful. Be careful. Brian Miller, thank you.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
15 million Americans have already voted. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and it's 2 weeks before Election Day. And people in 4 more states can go to the polls in person today, including in Wisconsin, one of the battleground toss-up states where Vice President Harris campaigned last night, calling former President Trump increasingly unstable.
It's all about himself and his personal grievances. And do we want a president of the United States who spends full time plotting revenge while they sit in the Oval Office?
Harris was joined there and on stage in Pennsylvania and Michigan by former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, an anti-Trump Republican urging others in the GOP to vote Democrat.
You can vote your conscience and not ever have to say a word to anybody.
Well, the former president will meet with Latino leaders in Miami this morning before returning later in the day to North Carolina, another toss-up state. He made 3 stops there yesterday, meeting with church leaders in Concord after a rally in Greenville.
I will massively cut taxes for workers and small businesses, and very importantly, there will be no tax on tips.
The former president also toured damage and flood-ravaged Asheville, meeting with Hurricane Helene victims.
I'm with you and the American people are with you all the way.
Again, critical of the federal response to Hurricane Helene and FEMA's spending that, again, prompted Democrats to accuse former President Trump of spreading misinformation. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel, pushing again for a ceasefire in Gaza days after Israel killed Hamas's leader. And before Blinken arrived,
the sirens went off here in Tel Aviv. We looked up in the sky and saw at least one missile being intercepted right above us. And Hezbollah says it launched dozens of rockets into Israel. To the north in Lebanon, Israel has been bombing Hezbollah targets over the past 48 hours. Lebanese officials say 13 people were killed.
That's Fox's Matt Finn. America's listening to Fox News.
The socialists who want to move into the White House have a lot of plans for your money. One of them is to control the price of food, and this is just the start. Could 401ks and IRAs be next on their agenda? It might sound far-fetched, but so did price fixing just months ago. Hi, Donald Trump Jr. here. If you've spent decades building your nest egg, you can act now to stop your savings from falling into the hands of the socialists. It's why Americans are turning to gold, the ultimate safe haven in uncertain times. To see how easy it is to diversify your retirement with gold, get a free info kit from my friends at Birch Gold by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. Birch Gold makes it easy to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold while preserving your tax advantage status. Don't wait any longer. Protect your financial future now. Text PROTECT to the number 989898 for your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold company I trust.
Paid for by Birch Gold Group.
Polls keep showing how close this presidential election could be, within the margin of error in most battleground state surveys, and nationwide, like a new Fox News poll.
50% of registered and likely voters go for former President Trump, compared to 48% for Vice President Harris. More than 8 in 10 voters who support Vice President Harris think votes will be counted accurately. Just 35% of those who support the former president think votes will be counted properly. Just 63% of the vice president supporters say they will accept the outcome of the election if she loses. Just under half of those who support the former president say they will accept the outcome if he loses. Just over half say they're voting early. More people who are voting early say they'll support Vice President Harris, and more people who say they're voting on Election Day say they support former President Trump. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Now, ahead of the elections, there have also been well over 100 lawsuits filed, and now an update on a couple of those.
2 separate challenges by the Republican National Committee were rejected by state judges in Michigan and North Carolina. The RNC says the states were improperly accepting overseas ballots from people who never lived in those states. A Michigan judge said the RNC waited too long to bring the case and that it was too close to Election Day, saying the state's guidance was legal. A North Carolina judge ruled that the RNC, quote, had not presented any evidence that fraud had occurred. Another pending lawsuit filed by 6 Republican congressmen in Pennsylvania claims election officials are not meeting verification requirements for overseas ballots. Tanya Powers, Fox News.
On Monday Night Football, the Ravens win again.
Wide open and a touchdown. Back-to-back games with a touchdown for Mark Andrews.
That was one of 5 TD passes for Lamar Jackson, leading Baltimore to a 5th straight win. The Ravens beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 41-31 on ESPN. In the other Monday night game, it came down to the last second. The Arizona Cardinals on a field goal beat the Los Angeles Chargers 17-15. On Wall Street, stock futures are down. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning. Sun coming up, 49 degrees. WIBX news time is 8:05. Well, we're just 2 weeks away from Election Day, and we got a bit of an update here in the 22nd Congressional District race. Republican incumbent Congressman Brandon Williams picking up support of the Syracuse Police Department Union, and his Democratic challenger, current State Senator John Mannion, has now the endorsement of the New York State Troopers Union. The 22nd District includes parts of Oneida, Cayuga, and Cortland counties, along with all of Madison and Onondaga counties. In Rome, the Humane Society is trying to track down the person responsible for abandoning a puppy. The dog, who was between 10 and 12 weeks old, was found on Elpis Road in Vienna yesterday. The canine was wrapped in a blanket. It's believed the pet may have been left outside in the cold for several hours. Anyone with information is asked to come forward and contact authorities. A professional CNY photographer lucky to be alive after a run-in with a dog. Christina Wall has been shooting professional photos for more than a decade, and hundreds of her pictures include pictures of dogs or people and dogs and their dog. One of the photo sessions was unlike any other, and she wishes she would have listened to her gut. Her instincts were right. She had an odd feeling about a client's dog. You can see the aftermath and some of the bites that she sustained, including a nasty bite to her arm. Check it out on our website at WIBX950.com. You can enjoy The Nightmare Before Christmas on the big screen, along with ghost hunts, and shop your paranormal heart out this weekend in central New York. From 4 to 6 p.m., you can embark on a first-floor self-guided paranormal investigation of the historic Fuller Farmhouse. Whether you're an experienced ghost hunter or you're just curious, you can bring your equipment and meet the spirits that call that farmhouse home. And there's, as I mentioned, a chance to watch the classic The Nightmare Before Christmas on the big screen as well. Full details on our website at WIBX950.com. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM News Time coming up on 8:08. Another nice day on tap. Here's what we can expect.
Here's the latest forecast from the WIBX Weather Center. Another good-looking day, another mild day, well above average in terms of temperatures. Clear through the first part of the day and sun this afternoon, about 80. Cool night tonight, could be a lot colder, mainly clear, 55. And we'll see our next change come in tomorrow, gusty breeze and a couple of showers late, probably after 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 75. Sun returns. Here comes the cooler fall-like weather Thursday. No sunny, 55. I'm meteorologist Ray Stejik at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
We have some sunshine.
You believe this weather?
50 degrees.
2 days. I mean, if you have the day off and you like to golf,
yeah,
man, where are you going to be?
It is 8:08. Now you're making me feel bad here because I know what I'm going to be doing today.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to be golfing.
Oh, boy.
Be on a bread truck, an old bread truck driving around Rome today. Where am I going? Sports here. 2 games on Monday Night Football last night. The Baltimore Ravens started 0-2. They're now 5-2, and they scored 34 unanswered last night as they took down the Buccaneers in Tampa 41-31. The Bucs dropped to 4-3. Elsewhere, the Cardinals come from behind to beat the Chargers 17-15. Arizona is now 3-4, while the Chargers drop to 3-3. The New York Giants say that Daniel Jones is still their quarterback, unfortunately. Jones has struggled throughout the season. In fact, let's be honest, he struggled throughout his entire career, except for that first game against the Buccaneers. He was benched during the Week 7 loss to the Eagles. The NFC East now has the Giants in the cellar at 2-5. They look to snap their 2-game skid when they take on the Steelers on Monday Night Football. Jets interim head coach Jeff Ulbrich confirming that Hassan Reddick has reported to the team's facility. He did not comment on whether or not Reddick would be ready to play this weekend. It was reported over this past weekend that the premier pass rusher had reached an agreement to restructure his contract. The Jets, also 2-5 on the season, they play the New England Patriots coming up in Week 8. The World Series begins on Friday in Los Angeles. The Yankees and Dodgers. And some good news for the Pinstripes. Manager Aaron Boone saying there's a good chance that veteran lefty Nestor Cortez will be on that roster. Cortez has been on the injured list since September 25th with an elbow flexor strain. The 29-year-old status for the series will be determined after a live bullpen session coming up today. He had a 3.77 ERA in 31 games this regular season.
So I'm looking at this story that you had earlier. It's up on our website at WIBX950.com regarding the woman who in Whitesboro, they had a group of raccoons show up at the front door.
Yes.
So there was a large invasion in the state of Washington earlier this month. A woman who over the last 20 years has been feeding the raccoons.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, 100 or so raccoons surrounded her house when she stopped feeding them.
That's really scary. It sounds like a movie.
It does.
Like a Pet Cemetery style movie.
Like all
right?
of a sudden you look out and all of these raccoons are all over the place. Anyway, I did not realize the DEC recommends using an electric fence. Is it electric? Yeah, an electric fence made up of 2 wires attached to an insulated post, one wire 4 inches and the other one 8 inches above the ground around your garden.
Yeah, because
to prevent stuff from getting in.
You know, I can tell you 2 things real quick. One is one of the houses that I delivered to, I think this was Friday, but it might have been yesterday. You could see some type of an animal. They had pumpkins, carved pumpkins on the porch.
Somebody was eating them.
And something ate 80% of one of the pumpkins, and the other one looked like the top where the stem was just chewed around a little bit. And the other thing is there's a nice lady on my route, her and her husband, and they get several Chewy boxes, and it's these dog biscuits, like the Milk-Bone dog biscuits. And like I said, they're a very, very cute couple. And he's kind of small talked with me before as I was unloading the 8 Chewy boxes that I bring there every week.
Every week.
Wow. Yeah. It's funny because sometimes I think they're sometimes on my route and sometimes not.
Yeah.
So I'll see them like, twice a month or something. Maybe it's every other week. But she was commenting about the treats. And I said, oh, well, how many dogs do you have? She said, oh, we don't have any dogs. I said, what? She goes, we feed these to the deer. I said, get out of here. So now I've become more aware of this. And I swear I was there one day last week. 2 weeks ago, there were 3 deer standing in front of her deck area. And when I pulled in, they ran off.
They're waiting for the food.
Last week, there were 5 deer, and they lined the driveway and gave me a look like, bro, where you been?
Yeah.
Where have you been?
Wow.
It's so funny. They're not even scared of me.
They're
they don't
waiting
run off
for you to arrive. That's like I think their commercial is like that. It's like a dog. It's like, oh, guess who's coming? It's the Chewy delivery.
One of them looked at his watch, and he's like, you're 25 minutes late, dude.
That's wild. Good stuff. Stand by. I got a bunch to get to here before we get out. And there's a chance for your local nonprofit or organization, maybe it's a school or a team, to get some money in a good way. And we'll tell you about that. Coming up here in just a second. Stand by at WIBX.
This station is brought to you by Tallman's Tire, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code SUPPORT, or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off. roundhouseprovisions.com, code SUPPORT.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED. And it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to Hims. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through Hims.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through Hims.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
We're your neighbors, friends, and your family. We care about our community, your business, and most important, you.
We support charities like the United Way, McMahon Ryan Child Advocacy Center, rather members of IBW Local 43 and NECA Contractors. You don't just see our work, you live it. From the JMA Wireless Dome, hospitals, schools, and city buildings, the IBEW is part of the community.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
Hey everyone, it's Lisa from Fit Body Bootcamp. It's October. That means it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And if you know me, I love to give back to our community. Are you a local business owner? If so, my team and I would love to challenge you to burpees for boobies. All you have to do is contact us for more information, and we can do burpees together. This year, we are donating every single penny to Making Strides of Utica. Want to nominate your friends to a challenge? Simply donate to nominate and help us reach our goal. Together, we can make a difference in the fight against breast cancer.
Shop the My Carl's floor sample clearance at My Carl's. Recliners from $249, bedrooms from $499, mattresses from just $99. My Carl's, New Hartford Shopping Center.
Hi, this is Rob Hilton of Hilton Estate and Elder Law with important information that you should know regarding your estate planning. Specifically, you should have prepared what is known as the Big Three. Basic estate planning is comprised of the three main documents that you need. First is the will, next is the healthcare proxy, and last is the power of attorney. What most people don't know is how important of the three the power of attorney really is, because New York State has no simple method for you to act on another's behalf if they become incapacitated. I am often asked, what is probate and why is it needed? Probate is the act of administering the will through the New York State court system. It requires a filing fee and other actions to be taken, as well as a petition to be filed. It is time-consuming and can be expensive. It can be avoided by using a living trust. To find out more about strategies to protect your loved ones through proper estate planning, contact us at Hilton Estate and Elder Law. Call for more information and to schedule an in-person meeting to answer your questions.
Hilton, you know the name, they know the law. Hilton Estate and Elder Law.
Need new tires? Nokian Tires is celebrating 90 years of legendary Hack-A-Polito winter tires with a consumer rebate. Now through October 31st. When you buy 4 select winter, all-season, and all-weather tires, you can save up to $80 by mail on a MasterCard prepaid card. Offer expires October 31st, 2024. Experience the thrill of savings on every mile at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Visit their stores and meet their team of experts, or schedule your appointment online at tallmanstire.com.
Hey, the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is announcing that back with them is Dr. Zielinski. Dr. Zielinski is back. He was on military duty for about 4 or 5 months. So at that point, they were not accepting new patients. But Dr. Zielinski is back with Dr. Shemileski. They'll be in studio tomorrow. Call the Falcon Clinic today, the only osteopathic clinic in all of Central New York. Call today at 315-507-4751. They're accepting new patients. And right now, Randall's Pharmacy in New Hartford is actually going to workplaces. They'll head out to a workplace, your workplace if you'd like, and offer up vaccines for everybody there. That way, not everybody getting sick all at the same time. You prevent that mass sickness, which is really difficult for profits, really difficult when it comes to just moving your business forward. Call Randall's today at 315-732-1615. Insurance covers it. They'll come in. It doesn't matter if you're a small business or large, whether it's the COVID or the flu vaccine or both. They have you covered. And any of the vaccines available at Randall's, no appointment is necessary. You can just walk into their pharmacy next to Cavallo's on Genesee Street in New Hartford without an appointment and get your vaccines. It's all going on now. Call them today and schedule an appointment for vaccines at your workplace at 315-732-1615.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Okay. All right, in studio right now is Rich Artigiani. Rich, good morning. Good to see you. It's been a long time.
Good to see you, Bill.
You are in the midst of doing something really positive for the community. Talk about what you guys are doing over there.
Recently opened Destination Kia on Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
Kooky.
Kooky, very kooky, yeah. Formerly Cooper Kia. It's been a year.
Davey's going to help you with that microphone just a little bit.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's been about a year, and things are going really well.
So you're currently in the middle of a campaign that is doing good things for local. Is it just nonprofits?
Yeah.
Okay. So it could be a high school.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody, yeah. So explain what you guys are doing.
Well, essentially, it's basically you can earn up to $20,000 for your local charity. Basically, you make a video that is kooky, right? It goes along with our theme and upload it to our website, and we vote. And then in the end, there's a first, second, third place. First place, I believe, is $10,000, $5,000 for second, then two $2,500
this
third
is
and fourth prizes, right, for your
yeah.
So it's a video about being in like Halloween costume or being
just being kooky in general, like and talking about basically, I think the winner last year was a cheer squad from Siena College who uploaded a video for our stores out in Albany that basically just talked about the charity and cheered on along with our kookiness and
so you're showing why, number one, you're deserving of the money.
Correct.
And you do it in a kooky way. And the craziest, I guess, of all is the one that's going to walk away with the big prize. Yeah. So that's that's a lot of money being given away.
It's something different too. Not too many people do that, right? And it just gets them some exposure. They get to do a commercial.
Yeah. And they'll be in commercials.
Correct. Yeah.
That are coming up going forward. So.
On our website, you know, a lot of different platforms. So it's working.
So how is it having like a cartoon run around the place when you're working? Those things, that animation is, is that animation, the guy and the woman, are they really real people?
They are real people.
They are.
Yeah,
these are caricatures.
That's actually
of them.
James Morrell and his wife Megan.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, they're the owners of the dealerships and family-run operation and great people.
You've been in this business for a long time.
I have.
Is this a wonderful time for people when it comes to buying vehicles?
I think it is. I think it's kind of turned that corner and starting to get better. I think it depends on what you're looking to buy. But,
right. COVID was obviously just brutal for everybody. Yeah, couldn't get vehicles. It made for how about the stories where we would have somebody say, I had this beautiful, F-150 truck in the driveway, and some guy came up and said, I'll give you $75,000 for that right now. Well, I only, I bought it used. I only paid $45,000. That's what I'll give you for it. People are selling their vehicles out of their front yards.
It's crazy for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely a once in a lifetime type of
craziness
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, there's a rusted Nissan out in the lot there, and I don't know if anybody wants it, but I'll take a best offer.
I think you missed the boat on that
one. So can you talk about that, kind of to follow up on what Bill said there? Is the market stabilized again? Is there still supply and demand issues? Cars are readily available?
Yeah, for the most part, I think every day gets better. I think certain manufacturers struggle a little bit. They're currently still struggling a little bit, but overall, as an example, we have over 1,000 new vehicles, to choose from. So that's a lot. Between us and our sister store in Albany, we have a lot of inventory. Getting inventory isn't an issue, and I think that allows us to offer, those better deals for people.
Can you talk about the evolution too of the Kia brand? I remember, I was actually going to a Mets game, and I was going with a couple family members, and it was my uncle's like SUV, and this is, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago. There was an issue with a breakdown, and we were like determined Mets fans, and we're like, we're still going to the game. So we ended up renting this car, and it was, again, this was 10, 12 years ago. It was Kia before the whole rebrand.
Sure.
And I remember thinking to myself, I wasn't familiar with the brand at the time, and it was one of their base models. So like I remember thinking I was going to put my foot through the floor. And I was watching an NBA game, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, and I saw the new logo, and I'm like, KN, what's KN? Or I don't know what that is. And then Kia, and I'm like, oh, I get it. And it's taken on like a new life. It's like now the hip, cool brand that's out there.
Agree. Did a great job from a marketing standpoint. Great new redesign. The products come leaps and bounds. It's just they're a player for sure.
Some of the vehicles would be like my wife has a Credenza. It's a luxury vehicle. It is just loaded. It's unbelievable.
I'm sure she loves it. They're great
Yeah,
vehicles.
yeah. And it's a 2014. So I don't know what it is she likes to be driving a vehicle without a payment. I don't understand. I've never experienced that before.
It's the
never
greatest.
experienced it. But
let's get her into a payment. Though.
What's that?
Let's get her into a payment.
Well, I was
There's
tipping
the salesman right there.
I was tipping you off to that.
Appreciate it.
Just letting you know. All right. So again, you could be it's funny because I have with Tim Reed, Real Men Get Tested for Cancer. It's our nonprofit reminding guys who tend to be, we're all procrastinators, it seems, who just reminding them to get out there and get tested, because if you catch it early, it'll save your life. And Tim is saying maybe what we ought to do is a Being Kooky for Cancer video. There might be a possibility.
I think you're onto something there.
We may be onto something. So the idea is to come up with something, outlandish, kooky, and create a video talking about your charity and why it is you deserve, upload it to the website, and
I think the creativeness is the key.
That is the key.
Nail on the head.
Yeah. Upload it to the site, and you may be selected.
You may be.
All right. Good
That's
stuff.
a great give back.
Rich Artigiani, as always, thank you.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it. Good seeing you.
Great seeing you again.
How's Justin? Justin used to be our producer, brother-in-law.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, he's doing really well.
Phenomenal guy. Killing it right now. He's doing really well.
Great.
Once he got out of radio, that was boom. His career exploded. So, all right, Rich, thank you.
Thanks again.
Quick break. It's 8:28 at WIBX.
This station is brought to you by Tallman's Tire, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
This is Bill Cole from Gates Cole Insurance. Finding insurance coverage can be an overwhelming undertaking. As your local independent insurance company, we work hard for you to get the best coverage.
My name's Timothy Dean. I'm from Taberg, New York. We had a house fire. Got a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning. My house was fully involved. That morning at 6 o'clock, I called. Leslie was my agent, and within a matter of 20 minutes, the agent had called me, and within a matter of 2 hours, the agent was on scene, assisting me with whatever I needed, and Gates Cole went above and beyond. I would highly recommend Gates Cole Insurance to anyone for the customer service that they have provided for me during not only my fire, but also for all my business needs.
This is Tom Cole. For insurance for your home, auto, business, and just about everything else, trust your local independent insurance agency. Gates Cole Insurance. We'll take care of you.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Is this my cue, Davey? It is? Are you sure? Let me talk about Tony's in Washington Mills. And they have just an amazing Italian buffet that they do every day, Monday through Friday. Jeff, have you been to this yet? I'm going to ask you, by the way, in for Andrew for a couple of days this week.
I have not, but
so
I'll check it out.
This would be a great stop if they allow you a break on your driving as you're driving around. So
too far for them to go, though.
Every day from 11 till 3, they do an Italian buffet, and it's everything from pastas to greens, sausage and peppers, Virginia ham, pork tenderloin, chicken cacciatore, salads, soups, homemade desserts, fruit, everything.
Where's this?
At the Tony's in Washington Mills every single day, Monday through Friday. You got to check it out. And if you'd like it delivered to your workplace, you could do that as well. 315-737-9172, and they'll deliver. Dine in or take out an enormous, delicious Italian buffet every day, weekdays from 11 till 3 at Tony's in Washington Mills.
The instability of our economy after this election has many worried, and stocks and bonds could be the first to collapse. Countless Americans are turning to the safest store of wealth in human history to protect their retirement accounts. Physical precious metals. Gold has been a safe haven asset for generations. At Premier Gold, we specialize in helping those with a 401k, IRA, or other types of retirement accounts convert their vulnerable paper assets into physical gold to protect their hard-earned savings. Today, we'd like to send you a free gold election kit to help you decide if this is right for you. Call 606-800-8000 to claim yours. Act before the election to take advantage of the current rollover policies, allowing for a quick and seamless transfer into physical gold or silver. Don't let the outcome of this election influence the fate of your financial future. Call 606-800-8000 now. Premier Gold is not a financial advisor. Please consult with your advisor before investing. Call 606-800-8000.
This is Bill Cole from Gates Cole Insurance. Finding insurance coverage can be an overwhelming undertaking. As your local independent insurance company, we work hard for you to get the best coverage.
My name's Timothy Dean. I'm from Taberg, New York. I have Dean's Concessions. I travel throughout New York State. I have been a customer for over 20 years, personal, with Gates Cole. And ever since I've started my business for the last 18 years have been solely with Gates Cole Insurance. As I have to call them from time to time to get certificates, and they take in within 15-20 minutes. We have a certificate. Gates Cole has exceptional customer service. They're there for you, and I have referred people to Gates Cole, and those people that have transferred over to Gates Cole have been very happy with their services.
This is Tom Cole. For insurance for your home, auto, business, and just about everything else, trust your local independent insurance agency. Gates Cole Insurance. We'll take care of you.
This station is brought to you by Tallman's Tire, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Portions of the program today brought to you by Daylight Donuts in New Hartford, and you can try their pumpkin lattes, their pumpkin donuts, pumpkin this, pumpkin that. at Daylight Donuts, and obviously the coffee, the espressos. It's Seattle's best coffee. So good, so delicious, and the drive-thru, you're in and out and on the way. You don't have to sit for 20 minutes or longer in the drive-thru. That does happen at some of these places. And also, new to the menu, avocado toast on Heidelberg French peasant bread.
That sounds great. Where's that, by the way?
That's Daylight Donuts.
Oh, with all the food you're coming at me
You
here.
learn so much here, Jeff. You're out. I mean, you've got to make it a point to be here at least one day every week to catch up on all the new stuff.
So, and I'll just tell you that a fast food meal a week is probably too much, but I do more fast food than I should.
All right, you're
and
busy.
I don't know
if
they have a situation at a lot of these places where, I know minimum wage has gone up, so you're paying people $16 right out of the gate.
$50 an hour, probably.
And I wonder if they've gone with smaller staffs to accommodate for that.
Slower now, isn't it?
It's so slow. It's so slow.
And I'll wrap it up by saying, not at Daylight Donuts.
Well, I'm glad to hear. I'll be going to check that out again. It's been a while, I have to admit, since I've been. I got to get back in there.
On the line is the author of the book, The 60% Solution, Rethinking Healthcare, and his name is Todd Furness. Furness or Furness, Todd?
It's furnace, but when it's paired with donuts, it can be anything you want.
It can be. Nothing like a really good donut. Quality,
Well, if your metabolism is going like a furnace, you don't have to worry about the donuts. They'll take care of themselves.
Exactly right.
So you've uncovered something very interesting here. Hospitals just send out bills, and oftentimes there are either mistakes or questionable charges that could make the bill outrageous. This is true.
It's worse than that. They're doing it intentionally.
Oh, that's bad.
So,
yeah,
it is bad, but not in the way that you think. Meaning it's intentional in that the prices are inflated because they know that the insurance company is only going to pay a portion of a percentage of whatever is charged on that bill.
Yeah, so they're pushing the price up to be able to get back to a number that's reasonable for them.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And they also contemplate the fact that there's going to be about a substantial percentage of those claims that are processed are going to get kicked out, meaning their insurance company's going to deny them, which means there's going to be a delay in payment. So they have to anticipate cash flows. They have to anticipate how long it's going to take to get paid. Are they going to get paid 100% of what's over on the bill from the insurance company? So what's the answer? The answer is, for the individual who's getting a bill, for that portion that's not covered by insurance or otherwise, then the individual should say, hey, wait a minute, I'm not paying that. You've got a legal obligation to publish your prices on your website, your cash pay prices, and I'm going to go look that up, and I'm going to tell you that's the amount that I'm going to pay. And usually it can be as little as 10 to 15% of whatever's on that bill.
Wow. I've been noticing something happening, and this is not hospitals, but it's the clinic, the place you go to have your blood drawn or
Sure.
whatever. I make it a point to pay my copay every single time. But every time I go back to give blood, they say I owe a copay. I don't owe a copay, but I've never saved the receipts. And now there's like they've got a collection agency on it, but I refuse to pay it because I've never not paid my copay. I have this feeling that there's like in some unethical situations, there may be a facility out there saying, just hit them again with another bill, they'll just pay it.
Yeah.
Well, what's happening is they're actually operating on the assumption that you didn't pay it. And so that assumption is baked into their processes, and then they just kick it out and say, I'm assuming you didn't pay. And so then that forces you to either produce a receipt or a credit card statement or something that says, no, I paid this on this date. But the real trick is you should say, I'm not paying a copay. Tell me what your cash price is for this.
Oh.
So let me give an example. Let's go. Well, actually, the blood test is interesting because a lot of people are charging anywhere from a couple $100 all the way up to $1,500 for a blood test.
Wow,
that's ridiculous. You can get that for $50. in most instances, depending on what's being tested. So the real issue is, can you pay cash at the point of sale? Meaning when you're stepping up to the counter.
Yeah.
And if you can pay cash and your deductible is high, it's frequently cheaper to pay cash for 100% of it because you're never going to hit your deductible. And by the way, that cash payment is applied to your deductible. So let me give you an example. My assistant needed an MRI for her knee. And she said, "Hey, what's your insurance price for this?" The answer was $3,200 for the MRI and $800 for the radiologist report. She said, "Hey, I just my deductible's $3,000, and I got to pay a copay on top of that. That means that the insurance company's not covering very much of it." I just read this guy Furness. He just wrote a book called "The 60% Solution." Tell me this. He said, "I can negotiate with you. What's your cash price?" And the clerk on the other side, the nurse on the other side, said, "Well, you mean including the radiologist report? Yeah. What's your cash price for all of it?" $562.
Wow.
And that's not an anomaly. Usually when I tell my stories, when I'm doing public speaking events around the country, that's what they come back with. Everybody in the audience usually says, or there's usually one person or two people or three people in the audience who say, "I had the same experience. I just said, what's your cash pay price?" And I go back to, since January of 2021, there's been a legal obligation to post your cash pay prices on the website, on your website. It's a legal obligation. So you can usually go on and say, "Hey, tell me what your cash pay price is."
Especially if you have a high deductible, and a lot of these insurance plans have a very high deductible.
Yes, they do, and it can be $8,000-$10,000.
Yeah,
and so you'll never get there. And guess what? If in an ideal world, you would just pay cash for everything because it's far less expensive.
You know, on a much smaller scale, and anecdotally, this was about 10, 12 years ago, but you and I have both dealt with back issues, Bill. And there was this chiropractor I was going to at the time. It was very good, very nice. I was very happy with his service. But when I would go in, I was paying a copay. And then the secretary, receptionist, I knew, and she was like, "Hey, why don't you just pay a cash instead of running it through insurance?" And I said, "I don't understand." She goes, "Your copay amount is X amount, and what he was charging for the service was like $10 less."
So your insurance company wasn't paying anything.
Zero.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Exactly. So think about this, guys. What is insurance? Insurance is payment in advance for something statistically improbable to occur to you.
That's a good point. Think about it.
Yeah.
What about medicines? I would assume the same type of thing is prevalent when it comes to very expensive medications.
How about all medications? Usually what happens is first thing the pharmacist does is, "Do you have insurance?" And the answer is yes. And then from that point forward, they are, in many cases, prohibited from telling you what the cash price is. Think about that for a second. You might, if you use cash, you might pay 10%, 20%, 30% of what you would pay with insurance, and usually you have a deductible and a copay. So yes, actually push back on that too. Say, "I want to pay your cash price for this. Don't go through insurance."
Well, you see a lot of these cases where somebody can't afford a certain medicine, and all of a sudden they say, "Well, if you go to Walmart, you can get it for peanuts." It is very interesting how that number can. It all comes down to insurance. They're trying to get as much out of insurance companies, I think, as they possibly can.
Think about this for a second. What other industry do they determine the quality or the ability to access the services offered based on the payment mechanism?
Yeah.
So what are you talking about, Todd? Insurance is merely a payment mechanism. It's not a solution. It's not a healthcare solution. It's just a payment mechanism. It says, "Hey, I'm going to pay this in advance to avoid paying these higher costs down the road. I have predictability extensively." And then what's misleading about that is you really don't have predictability.
Right.
And really what you should be doing is you should be insuring yourself only for catastrophic loss and putting as much money as you can into something called a health savings account, which was authorized in 2003 under George Bush and created and allows you to put money into a savings account pre-tax. So you get the benefit of tax protection there. And then all the money that you make, any investments you make out of that health savings account, that's also tax-free. as long as those funds are being used for healthcare expenses.
Wow.
So it's a great way to protect yourself. It's a great way to, to insulate yourself against things like high deductibles. And once you do that, you have a lot of options because now you can pay cash for more and you end up paying a lot less.
All right, very interesting. And by the way, the book is available, I assume, anywhere people get their books, The 60% Solution, Rethinking Healthcare. I'm assuming it's out there.
It is. Everybody can get it wherever they want, the Amazon or my website or anywhere else. But thank you so much.
Todd Furniss, Furniss. Furniss is the author. Check it out. And Todd, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Have a great day. Thanks. That is very interesting.
You
gotta wonder how many people are paying more than they really have to.
I didn't want to chew up too much of his time there, but I don't remember where I saw this. Now, I have to preface this because I know I've said several times in the past 2 days, I saw this thing or I heard this thing, but I don't remember where it was. I didn't pick up a drug addiction since I've been away. I just want people to know that. But in my truck all day, I constantly have audio playing on my phone, but obviously I'm not watching it. I can't watch it. So it's all, I just hear things all day and process them, but I don't know if this was on a podcast, a TV show, if this was a Dr. Phil segment, I don't know. But this person claimed that they went and they had been injured, and I don't know if it was an automobile accident, but they were in the hospital. And while they were there, and they got charged for like several cans of ginger ale. I think that was what they were drinking. But they were charging them like $22 a can for the ginger ale. And when the person got their bill, they gave them an itemized breakdown, which they weren't supposed to. And then the guy started questioning, and they ended up removing like the 4 cans of soda and the 2 bottles of water that they charged $18 for.
So there is,
because they were embarrassed to admit to a guy, we just charged you $22 for something you can get for 75 cents in the vending machine down the hall.
I know a person who went into the hospital to have a baby and checked out early because they didn't want to, they refused to pay
I thought you
for another overnight.
Checked out early.
They lived. And so did the baby, but refused any medication from the hospital and brought her own. So when it came to a Tylenol, that Tylenol was costing over $100.
Oh, my gosh.
So she brought her own Tylenol, her own Advil, and other things, and refused it and could not be charged for that. Now, to me, that's, especially if you have insurance, you're really putting a lot of work into this. Is it worth it to prove a point? But in this case, for her, it was. She did not have insurance, and she saved tremendously just by simply bringing her own things. And probably that included ginger ale. You just don't know.
Imagine that. You go to the hospital, you tell the doctor, keep your I got my own stuff, doc.
See that cooler over there? I used to bring it to the Turning Stone at the concerts, but now they serve alcohol, so I bring it to the hospital with me. Hold on. We'll come right back here. Hold on.
Hey everyone, it's Lisa from Fit Body Boot Camp. It's October. That means it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And if you know me, I love to give back to our community. Are you a local business owner? If so, my team and I would love to challenge you to burpees for boobies. All you have to do is contact us for more information, and we can do burpees together. This year, we are donating every single penny to Making Strides of Utica. Want to nominate your friends to a challenge? Simply donate to nominate and help us reach our goal. Together, we can make a difference in the fight against breast cancer.
Need new tires? Nokian Tires is celebrating 90 years of legendary Hakkapeliitta winter tires with a consumer rebate. Now through October 31st, when you buy 4 select winter, all-season, and all-weather tires, you can save up to $80 by mail on a MasterCard prepaid card. Offer expires October 31st, 2024. Experience the thrill of savings on every mile at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Visit their stores and meet their team of experts, or schedule your appointment online at tallmanstire.com.
This station is brought to you by GPO and their Shred Week, October 19th to 25th at all GPO locations. There will be tailgating, snacks, and free secure paper shredding. Find more info at gpofcu.com.
Hey everyone, it's Lisa from Fit Body Bootcamp. It's October. That means it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And if you know me, I love to give back to our community. Are you a local business owner? If so, my team and I would love to challenge you to burpees for boobies. All you have to do is contact us for more information, and we can do burpees together. This year, we are donating every single penny to Making Strides of Utica. Want to nominate your friends to a challenge? Simply donate to nominate and help us reach our goal. Together, we can make a difference in the fight against breast cancer.
Hey, Mazda's been winning races and building award-winning vehicles for more than 100 years. And right now at Steve Ponte Mazda, you can drive a new 2024 Mazda CX-30 SE for only $269 a month on a 36-month lease. Or you can save with 0% or 0.9% APR financing on select new 2024 Mazdas. See the dealership, see Ricky Z or Wyatt or any of them over there. They'll take care of you. Just like they took care of us. I have a family member who just bought a brand new 2025 CX-90. It's a hybrid, so you can drive around town and never use an ounce of gas. Or, if you're traveling a distance, you have gas. It's perfect. And what a beautiful vehicle that is. They are making some great vehicles right now. As Ricky Z says, let's make your deal on a new Mazda, where it's always easy to do business. Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, let's see. Andrew's off till he'll be back Thursday, and Manaski is graciously lending us his talents.
Wait till you get my itemized bill, by the way.
Yeah, that's why we give you coffee here. We didn't do that, did we?
No.
Herkimer County.
Now, I paid about $1 something for that coffee, but by the time you get the bill, it's going to be $195 a cup.
Inflation. That's what it is. Let me tell you, in Herkimer County, there's so many things to do. And boy, the next 2 days, wow. The sun shining, when you see that bright sun up against the incredible natural colors of the changing leaves, it is incredible. You could stay right around here in Herkimer County. The hills, go up Vickerman Hill or down over near Middleville and Newport and Little Falls, all in those areas. Herkimer County is just beautiful right now. And, of course, you can always go up to Old Forge, where it is peak season for the colors. Herkimer County, where history, commerce, beauty, and fall foliage all collide. It is happening in Herkimer County. Manaski, I have a few things before we get out of here.
Sure, and I'll just say I was at 5S. I mentioned last Sunday heading out for my son's football game, and it was beautiful. The game was at CVA.
5S is a good view, right? You're looking down into the
view.
Valley a little bit there, and
it is peak time.
Okay, I'm going to throw some. There's apparently a new movie out. Did Willie talk about this? The date. Yes, this is the dating game where the woman and the guy end up hooking up, and it goes really bad. If you've seen Anna Kendrick's new movie on Netflix, it's called Woman of the Hour, and it's based on the true crime story of a mass murderer who won a date on the dating game in the 70s. But in the movie, they've changed all the dialogue to make it seem like the woman was roasting the guys. And Tony Hale plays the host of the show, but they changed his name, most likely because he's played like a sexist, smirking jerk the entire time. Here is a clip from the movie. It's this one.
I'll say, I didn't know I needed to be an astrologer to be on this show.
Do you mean an astronomer?
Is there a difference?
Do you want there to be?
Are you going to ask me a question?
I just asked you two, but sure. Question number 1, what are girls for?
Girls are for guys and, having fun with.
Well, Gloria Steinem would be proud.
Being a little hard on the boys, aren't you, Cheryl?
Oh, I think we're all having fun.
Of course we are.
Bachelor number 3. I'm counting on you. What are girls for?
I guess I'd have to say that's up to the girl.
That's a very good answer.
He's probably the serial killer right there.
Yeah. You can even tell
You just know. Yeah.
There was like a little theme music change in the background. Now, I'm aware of 2 circumstances where there was somebody who killed somebody on a show like this. One was from a podcast where
The podcast thing I remember. I forget exactly what it was.
She thought her father was a serial killer, and I think he killed several people, but he ended up on that show, on a show like that. And then, but if I'm not mistaken, what is this based on a true story, right?
It is based on a true story. This might be the one. Yeah. Although I think it's loosely, they use a lot of leeway and
a lot of
how about
creative.
Speaking of true stories, we are watching what's the name of it? The Menendez brothers.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that.
Have you been watching it?
I have. I'm 5 episodes in, maybe 6.
Oh my God! Can you? I'm at the point where they revealed what the father did to them.
Yes, so am I. Now
I almost fell out of my chair.
What do you remember when this happened? Because I remember as a child seeing the brothers and being aware of what that they had killed. Well, spoiler alert that they killed their parents. But
we all know that, yeah.
But I didn't. If the allegations made in that show are true, I feel completely different about them being sociopaths who should spend the rest of their life in jail.
And they're nuts, but wouldn't you be? I mean,
probably.
The way they acted, the way they acted in the media, the things they were told, they were completely privileged. They were always told to lie, to cheat, and steal, but don't ever get caught. I don't want to give away too much, but this was 1996.
Okay, so I'm older than I thought. I was around 8, about my son's age, but I guess I was older. I didn't remember all these stuff.
They were found guilty of murdering their parents, first-degree murder, sentenced to life in prison without parole. The father, Jose, a music executive, and the mother, Mary Louise, a former beauty queen who went by the name of Kitty. But you learn that she knew what was going on, and the stuff that was being done to them was horrible.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
And then it was being done to one brother, and then when the one brother made him stop, the other brother. And then the older brother was doing it to the other brother. It was just twisted. And now there's a movement. They're probably going to be released from jail because of this documentary or this movie.
Well, so here was my hesitation. This is what I always wonder. We just talked about it's based on a true story, this other movie, and then there's creative liberties taken.
Well,
how much of what is being portrayed in that documentary is true?
Apparently it's very accurate. Based on family members, people who are now coming out and saying, listen, it was terrible, but these kids should no longer be in jail. And I really wonder, should they have ever gone to jail? But I don't think they used this. I got to watch more. But I don't think this was used in the trial because the kids were embarrassed and they didn't want anyone to know.
I know that's the one older brother's contention, right? That it stays between us. So the other thing is... running
out of time.
You know what? I'll just say it this way. There's a lot of men in good shape in there, but there's too many crotch shots in there for me. My girlfriend doesn't mind, but
there's some full
with the close-ups on the genitals.
Full frontal nudity,
I don't need to see it.
Yeah, I don't either. If I want to see that, I look in the freaking mirror. I mean, come on.
That's the one. Well, there's many parts that have bothered me about the series, but from an artistic standpoint, enough, okay? I get it.
Jeff is back tomorrow. We're back tomorrow. Enjoy your day.
Our nation is at a crossroads. In Albany, John Mannion and Kathy Hochul support radical policies like cashless bail, which releases violent criminals back into our communities. Worse, John Mannion and Kathy Hochul support defunding the police, taking officers and equipment off of the streets when we need them the most. Now, Mannion's running for Congress, threatening to take Hochul's terrible ideas to Washington, D.C. There's a better choice. Navy veteran Brandon Williams. A former nuclear submarine officer, Brandon Williams has a new mission, defending central New York from the Hochul-Mannion agenda. Unlike John Mannion, Brandon Williams knows how to keep our families safe. In Congress, he's secured millions for local law enforcement, giving cops the tools they need to keep violent criminals behind bars. On or before November 5th, vote for Navy veteran Brandon Williams for Congress.
I'm Brandon Williams, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Brandon for NY.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. W295EI. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. A Town Square media station.
People can go to the polls in 4 more states today. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and it's 2 weeks before the election.
Early voting is underway, so you know what you have to do.
Former President Trump in North Carolina, 15 million Americans have voted already.
We want a landslide that is too big to rig. Too big to rig.
Now, his challenges to the 2020 results are the reason a now anti-Trump Republican is campaigning for Vice President Harris. Former Congresswoman Liz Cheney was on stage with Harris in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania.
It's not just us predicting how he will act. We watched what he did after the last election. We watched what he did on January 6th.
Now, there are no Harris public events today. The former president will return to North Carolina for a rally tonight after a meeting with Latino leaders in Miami.
The former president is now leading the VP by 11 points with Latino voters, according to a new USA Today and Suffolk University poll. That same poll is showing Harris's support among black voters is reaching historic lows for a Democratic presidential nominee, with just 72% of likely black voters supporting the vice president.
That's Fox's Brooke Singman. The former president posted on True Social, "We must find the leaker," suggesting someone from the Defense Department let American intelligence get out, potentially compromising Israel.
Highly sensitive U.S. intelligence documents detailing potential Israeli retaliatory strikes on Iran appeared online.
Are we concerned? We are very concerned. We are.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre would not comment on specifics about the documents. She says there is an investigation how the classified material popped up online.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is in Israel, his 11th visit since the war broke out in Gaza. But as he pushes for ceasefire and hostage release, it's unclear who's in charge of Hamas and if they can hold any talks on a deal days after Israel killed Hamas's leader in Gaza. America's listening to Fox News.
The socialists who want to move into the White House have a lot of plans for your money. One of them is to control the price of food, and this is just the start. Could 401ks and IRAs be next on their agenda? It might sound far-fetched, but so did price fixing just months ago. Hi, Donald Trump Jr. here. If you've spent decades building your nest egg, you can act now to stop your savings from falling into the hands of the socialists. It's why Americans are turning to gold, the ultimate safe haven in uncertain times. To see how easy it is to diversify your retirement with gold, get a free info kit from my friends at Birch Gold by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. Birch Gold makes it easy to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold while preserving your tax